All right, we should be live, man. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get
Uh,
into this. All right, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to the 2-4 podcast. I'm your host, Christian. This is my redheaded brother from another mother, Kenneth. Say what's up.
what's up, y'all? It's good to be back again for another week.
And sorry I didn't do an immediate reaction this past Sunday. Had a lot of things going on, family stuff. Life kind of
Life.
you gotta make those things a priority, so but hopefully that doesn't happen again. Hopefully we can get it all handled, but we're here nonetheless the very following day, Monday.
Yes.
There's so much to go over, not just NFL, not just my beloved Raiders and uh sad emoji face, Michael Jordan cry face for the Niner fan over here.
Yeah.
But um, but there's so much going on, and it's like we said last time. It is a great time to be a sports fan. So much,
Absolutely.
so much, man. So how about, I don't know? Do you want to start with the the good or the bad? Do you want to start with your team or my team, dog?
Well, let's do it this way. Let's start with the good. Let's start with your team because you guys know you've had a rough few weeks. Let's celebrate something good for you. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about
I
the Raiders
I
and their big
appreciate that.
victory over the Texans.
Oh man, dude, I appreciate that. I wish more fans would be
Yes.
like this, man.
Just
Um,
because I'm not ready to talk about my
and
team just
and,
yet.
and that's and that's totally understandable too, because I've been there. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't go into this week 1-4 feeling pretty happy about life,
Yeah, absolutely.
So this was exactly what Raider Nation was hoping would happen coming off of a bye week, which, by the way, as people who follow the team and follow just the league, like keeping a very good eye, know that like some teams do better than other teams coming off a bye. And for a very long
Absolutely.
time, the Raiders historically have not done well that next game coming off the bye. I don't know why they get caught slipping, but they do. And for a moment there, I was a little nervous because even though the Texans were going into this game 1-3-1, the thing that you gotta always respect is they're pros for a reason. And then
Oh
the
yeah.
other thing is they have a hell of a coach in Lovie Smith, and he knows the level of talent that he has. And so I think sometimes the best things is to keep it to some basics. And so the thing that is praised about this Texans team is their physicality. They know that, they're not like other teams that just have just a
Firepower. They
plethora,
just
the plethora of
yeah.
weapons and talent and oozing
Yeah.
out the pores. You feel me? So they know that they got to do things in the trenches to start with, and they're a pretty,
Fundamental football, basically.
yeah,
They stick
basically.
to that and it
and
works.
and it's a great way to give your players confidence, because in order for them to grow, you got to give them some upsides,
Yeah.
and so that can be scary, especially if you're a team that plays down to their competition. Uh, you're a team that, since we're talking about the fundamentals, if you have a weakness in one of those fundamentals, that's when you can get exploited. And so, like, how the theme for my team's season has been is the O line is weak. And so when you have a physical football team that you're going against, that can be something to be worried about. And there was a moment where Derek Carr went down and gave us all a scare.
Oh yeah.
He was down for one play, but it was still a scare.
Oh yeah. Everyone's breath was held at Legion Stadium that play.
Yeah. And but you know what? I think they had a great game plan, especially in that second half, to start really gaining some momentum. I think really where they started to gain the momentum is something that Coach alluded to, which was there was a beautiful pass from Derek Carr to Mac Hollins on a very tough throw, and it tied the game 10-10. And yeah, that was like a momentum shift. Like I think that the team knew that, especially going into that halftime. All right, it's time to buckle down and take care of some business. And boy, did they ever, because they really leaned on the machine, the Terminator that is Josh Jacobs. And they were
Yeah,
like,
I
we're gonna out physical this physical team.
yeah.
And
That
they,
man,
yeah,
that man can run.
and they look like a dude who had enough of the bully and was like, I'm about to be a bully to the bully.
Yeah. They're like, the gloves are coming off. We're putting this game away, basically. And this week, Josh Jacobs looked like the best running back for the week out of all teams. His stats were on point, and he was just, he could do no wrong. He was playing really good football.
And he's been playing great football all season long.
Hmm.
And we brought it up the last time we were on about a difference in the way he's running, and he does everything very like fierce. He's very
Fierce, violently, like,
aggressive. Yeah.
yeah.
And if you didn't believe it before, and you didn't believe it when we brought it up last time, I'm pretty sure you believed it this time.
Yeah.
Cause there
Now
was
you should believe it.
he was scoring like in different ways. One where it was like, man, he just broke off and did some things getting into the end zone, and then there was one where he had to smash his way in. Man, this dude was doing like every kind of great run that you wanted to see in
Yeah.
one game. Like that, 3 touchdowns, bro. 143
touchdowns.
yards off of 20 carries. Imagine,
That's it. Yeah.
imagine the numbers he would have put up if you gave him like 10 more.
Oh yeah. Even 30 carries a game.
And so when you I don't know, when you saw him running the way that he ran, I mean, what kind of thoughts came to your mind? Like how did you process it when you were like looking at it?
Man, you know what it reminded me of a lot?
Hmm.
I was like, when watching him run during that game, the breaking tackles, running through people for touchdowns, like he like looked like Bo Jackson. Not gonna lie, because
Yeah,
that's how Bo played. That's how
yeah,
Bo played.
and
Like
and
he played
Bo had some
with
speed
heart
to him
and
too,
intensity. Yes, yeah, and Josh has that breakaway speed as well. And man,
especially when he gets around that corner.
yes, he'll hit the
Oh,
corner and he just cuts up field and he gets the momentum. Yeah, that's what I saw. And it's like he channeled him.
I
Was
mean,
like he really put the team on his back,
yeah,
help carry to the win.
and like how good it must have felt too with Marcus Allen being in the stands to be able to do that
Yeah.
too. Because like you brought up his teammate, and then not to
Yeah,
mention Marcus Allen himself was a beast. Like,
of course.
and
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of like the younger audience knows that this dude was also very physical. It's just that the dude was so fast you never really noticed that he was such a physical back too, because
Yeah.
he was such a fast dude. I remember, uh, I think it was when they won the Super Bowl, the President Reagan had to give him a phone call. And he was like, "What you was doing was illegal, man."
It
He
was
was like,
illegal,
you
man.
was too fast for my screen, dog."
The cameras couldn't keep
Yeah,
up, man.
yeah, you can't put a football on a Ferrari and run it down the end zone. But yeah, dude, they did everything with like a higher. I don't know if it was like a sense of urgency or just like, you know what, like they were like, you know what, I'm done with the bull, because
Yeah.
we've been in so many games where all we needed to do was, you know, clean some things up or just have a little bit more confidence in ourselves, and just like, you know, really just take over, feel like we're the better
Yeah.
team, you know. And that's how they should feel about everybody they go against. It doesn't mean that you're disrespecting the other team, but
Yeah.
you you are raising the bar for yourself. And like when I hear like Devonte Adams, for instance, speak on his greatness, especially when he was on the pivot, I didn't feel that he was coming off as disrespectful. I felt like he was actually given a lot of respect, but he was reminding folks how much work he's put in, and this is why he's so confident that no matter how great you are, I am going to do everything I can to exploit you. And there's gonna you're gonna get me sometimes, but I'm gonna get you more times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything disrespectful about it. And not to mention, he had a pretty good game too, man. He had 95 yards off of 8 catches, and this dude
Oh yeah.
was just shy of averaging 12 yards a catch.
That's
And
good.
like that means every time you throw it to him, it's a first down. Like that's crazy.
Basic. Yeah. Yeah. It was a big win. You know, you guys definitely needed for yourselves for you know, to keep the season alive. You know, and keep your hopes alive for, you know, a good rest of the season.
Mhm.
Having, like I said last week, the bye week you guys had couldn't come at a perfect time, at a
Yeah,
more perfect time, because you guys really had the time to, you know, just settle down, you know, get in the zone and come out there and play Raider football, and you guys secured the deal.
yeah, and you know, I wanna piggyback off of what you said. The bye week came at the best time, because imagine if the bye
Yeah.
week was just like a little bit later, like it could have been a potential even worse
It's
situation.
ki it's kinda like, you know, you string along those losses and kinda just like a snowball effect. It just kinds of builds up,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You guys were able to take the bye week, knock off all that, you know,
It,
all that negativity from the losses and everything like that, and come out feeling fresh, and that you know, it showed. It showed in
yeah,
the game.
yeah, and you know, I'm hearing more nationally, and this beautiful thing about having you here because you're out in Vegas. But nationally, a lot of people are like, you can't count this Raider team out.
No.
Like, if you look at their schedule, like the way we did, like this is a perfect time to get back into things. You can easily have a winning record if you start
Yeah.
stringing in these wins, and it helps that, you know, teams not only in your conference but your division especially are catching some L's. That
Yeah.
it's just like last year, because last year not only did we have to win, but we also needed guys in our conference and division to start losing games too. So
Mhm.
there's a definite possibility for that. I'm sure for a lot of teams, their schedule is actually getting harder like our season started out hard and it's starting to become more manageable. Um, but yeah, I'm liking everything that I'm seeing. I mean, we do need to continue to work on things on the defensive side, but some of that is a health thing because I felt the absence of Nate Hobbs. Um,
Yeah.
there was a few plays that gave the Texans a lot of confidence and early momentum because like what's his name Nico Hollins, I think.
Yeah.
Uh early on before he got kind of dinged up, he was kind of like destroying uh the backups. And so yeah, our secondary definitely could have used his help because he's one of the better corners in the league. But it was nice though that the defense was able to come up with a huge play at the end of the game, a pick six, to really seal it away. And and I don't think it was just like a nice thing for the team as a whole, but I'm also just kind of looking at how that's a nice thing for the defense because
Yeah.
the thing that I've brought up all season is even though these guys are showing that they're better than what people may credit them for and where they're kind of ranked statistically, the thing that is no doubt a big time bummer is the more big plays that are momentum plays, the interceptions and the sacks, just the turnovers, those things that you want to see. They haven't really been there. The only thing that's
Yeah.
kind of been there is just the sacks, but as far as um, getting that ball back on a defensive play, we've only had one of those really. Like,
Yeah.
well, we had one pick six earlier in the year, and then we haven't had nothing since then. And we rank towards the bottom in that kind of stuff. And so hopefully this is something that can build on because like every side of the ball is almost like their own team. And so
Yeah.
just like how the team as a whole needed the win, the team on the defensive side needed
Needed a win as well.
a win as well in that terms. So shout out to Deron Harmon for that interception. It's his first pick six ever in his career, and he's been in the league for 10 years. So,
Nice.
have you heard any hype out there in Vegas after this dub, or what's going on over there, man?
Um, there, a lot of people talk, saying if the Raiders can keep it going, they're excited that they finally got another win after going down so many games. Uh, um, a lot of people still on the fence, whether they can keep it going, stuff like that. But a lot of it, people are excited, because some people I talked to, they see the game, they saw the game, and they're like, "Oh, it looked like a totally different team." But I was like, the way I look at it, it looked like the same team. They just cleaned up some things.
Yeah.
They look like the same team in all the losses.
Mm-hmm.
If you look back, all the losses weren't lost by many points. It's and I was telling them, I was like, this team is really good, and they have a chance to you know capitalize and do something really well.
Yeah, and to prove your point about it being like the same team, I mean, this is Josh's uh, three straight games of 100 or more yards,
Hmm.
and that just shows that they are capable of doing this. But I think that they need to put a little extra emphasis on the run game, in because if they do that, then they're gonna probably when they get against go against the better teams in the league, the teams that they lost to early in the season, that kind of thing won't be as much of a factor because sometimes it does come down to the last few plays and your last possession. I mean, do you want to be throwing it or would you rather ride, your bell cow that's been proven all season that he's capable of doing all this. Because
Mm-hmm.
you know what, he could have easily had 100+ yards every single game. Because there was some
Oh
games
yeah,
where he was only carrying in the teens, man. He wasn't even
yeah.
carrying 20 times, man. And so that just
I
shows
mean,
how much of a difference this year is for Josh compared to prior years.
yeah, he's definitely gonna be definitely gonna be that go to. He's gonna be your like you said, your person you're gonna have to go to in when the game's on the line, because he shows that he can make that happen. I mean, just for like example, like look at last year and still this year, the Niners go to guy is Debo. Debo
Hmm.
is that guy can make the play for you, whether it be receiving or running the ball. You know, so that's why I see Josh as that guy who's going to get in there and do all of his best to get that touchdown or get that first down.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, dude. One game against the Titans. I mean, I guess that's a little bit more understandable because they're a very physical team when it comes to like stopping the run and things like that.
Yeah.
He only attempted 13,
Oh.
and so he had 66 yards. But had you continued it, he would have had uh he probably would have had 100 yards. It just probably would have took him more. Um, very first, well, not the very first game. It's not showing me everything. But anyways, the dude's been phenomenal, and I'm looking at these last three games. Dude had 144 yards on Denver, and they're one of the top teams at stopping the run, and he did that
Hmm.
on them. Okay, he played against Kansas City, and Kansas City's D line is better than what people give him credit for, and he ran for
Yeah.
154. And then Houston, another very physical team when it comes to that line, and he ran for 143. So the dude is just showing you that he's something different. He's built differently, especially for this year.
Built
This
different.
this guy is just. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel like I'm over here making a hot take, but I think if he continues to have success, he's gonna be in the running for Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. He's gonna be up there. I mean, I think right now he's sitting at third in rushing right now behind
Hmm.
Nick Chubb and Saquon Barkley. Like I think he's at third right now. That says a lot
Yeah,
to
and
be up in the talks with Nick Chubb and Barkley.
yeah, guys that are definitely a
And
much
it's
more popular name than him.
yeah, I mean, and I mean, give credit to your O line, like you said it before. The O line is a run line first.
Yeah,
Without them doing their thing too, he Josh Jacobs wouldn't be able to do his thing.
yeah, and Coach McDaniel's was confronted on that um today, I think it was, and he said, of course, what O line wouldn't want to be run blocking versus pass blocking? You get to push forward instead of having to like pedal
Push back,
backwards and stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
of
so,
course, yeah,
but it's like, all right, well, if you recognize it, then let them do it because
yeah,
they're so dominant at it at times that like we're facing some of the better pass rushers in the league.
yeah,
So I think another reason why we were having success, just as a team as a whole, because this is yet another game where Derek Carr does not throw an interception,
mhm,
is because the run frees up a lot of play action, and Derek Carr is very good at play action, and just it opens things up. Yeah, we don't have a lot of passing touchdowns in this game. We only have the one, But hey, we were moving the chains. That's the more important thing, and we
Yeah,
were we were really
and it
making it difficult for a Texans team to try and adapt and make the changes to try and get back into the game.
yeah, really hard to for them to key on one thing, if you're always switching it up. And it like moving the chains like that with what you guys are doing, you can get down the field with passes, but when you get that red zone, you go to your horse, you go to Josh, you go to he's gonna get in there no matter what it takes.
So overall, I'm gonna give this dub an A minus. I'm not gonna give it like an A plus because there were some hiccups, especially early on. Um, I would love to see what I saw in the second half be in the first half and just be a more complete football game. Um, but a win is a win, and I'll take it. And the way they won in that second half was very spectacular, in my opinion. So I am going to give my hats off to my Raiders, give them an A
Nice.
minus. Um,
Good, yeah. They deserve it.
yeah.
They deserve.
Oh, also, I want to give props to somebody that everybody's been waiting on to do something, and that's Chandler Jones. Okay,
Chandler Jones, yes.
he finally got a stat in the sacks side of the stats, and a guy like him who gets sacks in volumes. I mean, who knows? This might be the start of him getting 3 sacks in a game or something like that. Like
Yeah.
you can't count him out, man. He's a legend. He's gonna go down as one of the
The first
best.
one, the first one's always hardest in the season.
Yeah, and
It
I know.
either comes early or it comes late.
Yeah, and people got to remember, man, that this is in game 16
Nah.
that he did it. He did this. He did this in a game 6. Okay, so it's still kind of early-ish. Okay, and so there's plenty of football left, especially with the addition of another game to the season. So it's it's just like in the words of Aaron Rodgers. I don't like to quote the guy too often, but he said it best. Relax, relax.
Relax, relax. uh,
Was there
oh,
a- was
Rodgers.
was there anything that stood out to you that maybe we didn't cover?
Not that I think of anything. Pretty much covered everything. Uh, you talking about the defense a little bit more was good because I know you're missing out on one of your key players in the secondary.
Yeah.
So having just that next guy up, step up, kind of way
Mm.
is big, and I think you guys are really going to build on that too, coming in the next couple of weeks.
So since we've covered everything, uh, we have to cover something that you're probably not looking forward to. But you know what? You've had a lot more success than my team. So it's not that
Yeah,
bad. It's not that bad.
I think everyone deals with it.
Yeah.
When you
It's
play the Chiefs, you got to deal with it.
yeah,
It's just
and any loss
it either
really,
go, yeah,
any loss hits different when it comes to the NFL because there's so few games, man. It's one
yeah,
game is a weeks of preparation that didn't go right for you.
yeah, and this was one of those weeks.
So let's talk about it, man. Um,
Yeah, just rip the band-aid off.
you guys had a good start.
We did. We had a really good start. We came out the gate. You know, running the ball, passing the ball. Christian McCaffrey looked good. He was running the ball hard. Um, it was a surprise to me, but wasn't a surprise to me. I feel I feel I already knew they were going to try to get him out there. You know, who doesn't want to have Christian McCaffrey on the field?
Yeah, and
You know,
I thought he looked pretty good for a dude
he
who just
looked
got
pretty.
traded for.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I was hearing they're gonna have some packages rolled in there for him that he would already kind of know. And he's a smart guy, a smart football player. He's gonna get in there and he's gonna do his thing. We started off, coming out the gate, really, really well. Uh, there was, I always think the Chiefs do it on purpose. They give you that false hope. They gave you that false hope, man, where you could, you're looking good, and then I don't know what it is. They just got a good football team, man. And Patrick Mahomes, he's probably one of the greatest quarterback of our, young generations come to
Yeah.
come. He knows how to read a defense, break you down, and hurt you, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I
And
agree with you, man. Like this generation's Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady
Brady,
And
yeah,
Peyton Manning all wrapped into one,
yes,
man. But go ahead, continue, man.
I tip my hat off to him. He's a great quarterback. He's a great fit for their offense. But it it all falls on the Niners. This was a tough game. Having you playing at home. Uh, you kind of have the feeling of the Super Bowl repeats. You have that, going through your head, through your mind, and it was it was really tough to see the defense play the way they did, because I know that my defense is a whole lot better. We had a lot of guys come back who were missing the previous week. Bosa was back. Jimmy Ward back. Chavarius Ward's back. Hufunga's back. Like, everyone is back, healthy. Well, no, somewhat healthy,
Yeah.
but everyone was back there. And man, I watched the game, and it seemed like they were just giving up so many easy runs, so many easy, passes. There was a couple plays where there was one play they were 3rd and 20. The Chiefs were 3rd and 20, and they gave up a run. It was a screenplay, and they gave up a run for like 40 yards.
Yeah.
And man, it was just tough, where they were pretty much beaten up, getting beat. They were beating themselves, you know, and
Man, I I would say with a beating like this, it's a team loss.
it is,
It's
yeah,
not it's because like sometimes when you lose, you can say it was all the offensive side or the defensive side or one individual player, and usually that's the quarterback. But
mhm.
the way things kind of like went out of control in a hurry in that second half,
It
that
happened in a
was
hurry.
a team thing. That was being
Yeah,
out coached and outplayed by every single player. Like you brought up that 3rd and 20. Like trust me, I was there. I was there. I like
hmm
my team did
yeah,
the same thing, and many teams have done the same thing where
yeah.
it's like I don't know how they do it, but they do one of two things. Okay, one, they make it look too easy, and
They make
so
it so easy. Like, it's
so
like it.
you look even more stupid because of how easy it looked, right? And but
Yeah,
then the other thing is they they do a great job of variety that disguises so many plays that like kind of like the whole reason why you run the ball is so that way you set up play action, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Well, they do so many different variety of plays that it sets up all kinds of
Everything.
stuff, everything. So that screenplay, like, what else were they gonna do? You were expecting a deep throw. Did they do a
Mhm.
deep throw? No.
Nope.
They were just like,
It was a
let's
dump off.
just dump it off and block our butts off and let this dude get some wiggle room, and he's gonna get us that first down or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what they
Yeah.
do, and it's frustrating that they're that good between Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to be able to think on the fly like that on
Oh yeah,
almost every play. It feels like it's every play.
yeah. It was it was tough to see, and I mean having a defense go down like that, it doesn't help when our offense was also struggling towards the end of the game. We couldn't get much going. Jimmy G, he's good, but I don't think he's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good quarterback to get you some games. But when the time comes and he's getting rushed, he's getting flustered in the pocket, he makes
Yeah.
mistakes very very easily. And I saw that happen. There was pick six at the goal line, or not pick six, a pick at the goal line, which we could have capitalized and got another touchdown. Because
Yeah.
he just kind of just threw it up, and that was it. Just not a smart play with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
I mean, he
it's tough. It's
and statistically, I mean, he looked like he was doing all right. You know,
yeah, he was.
25 for
There was some
37. That's not bad. And he threw for 303 yards, had 2 touchdowns with only one interception. And
yeah.
it's just,
He
I
he
don't know.
he has solid. He his I put it like this. He has he's solid throughout the game, but when the moments where you need it the most,
Mhm.
it doesn't show up. That's what my point is. Like, he'll have great stats during the game.
Yeah.
There was drives where he was completing passes, left and right. That were on the dot in chess. Setting up everybody to run after the catch and stuff. But it was the moments where him getting pressured, you know, and 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 hats off to the Chiefs defense. Chris Jones, he's a wrecking ball when he gets in there. He's tough
Yes.
to play against. he's
Yes, bro. I'm a big fan of his, bro. He's so
he
good.
is he get in there and he disrupts a lot of things, and
And
he
he's
he
such a big dude, man. Like you
yeah
don't notice it until like they like just whether you catch him like talking to the media or you um get like a nice shot of him and your quarterback or something, you
yeah
notice
yeah
this massive man, dude.
yeah.
He's like this big ass walking refrigerator
He's
of
like
a person.
a Coke machine with legs.
Yeah, bro. He's like a big old vending machine.
Yeah, but yeah, hats off to them. They played a great game, and he actually spoke to media after the game, and he played the game with a chip on his shoulder. He felt disrespected in a way from the Niners. There were a lot of talk and go between teams. And they brought the A game. You know, uh,
And Debo didn't have a
to
great game, which sucked.
yeah, it was it,
But
it was it was tough.
yeah, dude,
Um,
like guys that you I mean, it
you
was nice.
want to make the play.
Yeah, it was nice to see that Kittle and Ayuk were able to be
Yeah,
relevant, but the other guys that you needed to be relevant weren't so much. Um,
yeah,
they just I think Kansas City, man, like I think people need to give that entire coaching staff more credit than they give. Like Eric Bieniemy should be a head coach. They shouldn't be taking away
oh
credit
yeah,
from him and what he's doing too. My bad for also having done that just a second ago, where I said it's Andy Reid and and Mahomes. I should have thrown Eric Bieniemy in there as well.
yeah.
So my fault, uh, coach. I don't mean to slight you, because I think very highly of you. I thought that you and Flores, one of you two should have been our head coach. I felt like Josh McDaniels kind of snuck in there. I'm not hating on the hire because I still give people a wait and see, but I still, I still reserve my initial thoughts until you prove me wrong, kind of thing. Um, and I don't do it like in a disrespectful way. As I have high respect for these two guys, especially Eric Bieniemy,
Oh yeah.
because everybody in that organization gives him his due when it comes to the work that he's put in as the coordinator of the Chiefs. Like everybody swears by him, and so does Patrick Mahomes. And so, that.
Yeah, what
Go
they got
ahead.
going is a what you would say a well-oiled machine,
Yeah.
from the coaching staff to players, like we're now starting to see what they're, capable of this season without having, their big playmakers that they had last year, you know. Uh who is it? Who ran on us? Oh, McCole Hardman.
Hmm.
He has stepped up big time. I saw it during this game. He was doing his best Debo impression. Yeah, like he was getting jet sweeps around the corner for touchdowns. They were running him the ball. He was doing it all, and the two backs that
Valdez
they have,
Scantling, bro, was going
like,
off.
yeah, they
Um,
like
J- Juju was going
Juju
off.
had a great game, and he's been kind of quiet before.
And
And
that has to go down to coaching.
yeah,
And now you're starting to see that, like, okay, so there's been talks about the Green Bay Packers situation, and we'll talk about them in a moment. But I want to make this
oh yeah,
point that there's been so many talks about, like, everyone thinks that the quarterback made Devontae, but it looks like Devontae helped make the quarterback.
quarterback, yeah,
And so, you know, this is kind of like the reverse. Not so much that Tyreek did that, because Tyreek is still balling out.
yeah.
But now that you don't have someone that's of that caliber of a playmaker, except for Kelsey, you're seeing that he's making guys better. Because remember, I said this offense is not the same. Well,
No,
to the last night, you probably are seeing the makings of like a rebirth kind of thing, where like
oh yeah,
time was just needed. You needed those reps. You needed to help these guys develop and get better and be more acclimated to the system. And they're probably now clicking on all cylinders, because like you said, it is a well-oiled machine from the
yeah.
staff to the players. And I have to, give them a lot of credit, because Juju was not the same dude in Pittsburgh after AB left. He was
No,
not. He did not look like a number one. Did he look like a number one last night? I think so.
I think so. He was definitely out there. He Yeah, he definitely looks like a number one. I guess this was like his coming out party, game. As of recently, is he only had like what, maybe only a few catches for some yards in each game, and but now he's really stepped up to be that number one wideout. Obviously, their number one target is going to be Kelsey, but I think what you say, wide receivers make the quarterback. In this case, Patrick Mahomes is making Juju shine.
And that's what you want. You want
Oh
that.
yeah,
You want your quarterbacks to be making the players around him better, not the players around him make him look better. Because when those
yeah,
players aren't around, because they're gonna have a shorter shelf life than your quarterback, then it's like,
mhm,
then you're gonna have those years where you just freaking suck, right? And so
Yeah.
the Hall of Fame quarterbacks are the Hall of Fame quarterbacks for a reason. It's because they always made the guys around them better. They didn't always have the same wide receiver their entire career.
Yeah.
They would have a guy for, anywhere between, 4 to 8 years, and then it's a new guy that comes in. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so, and then like I'm looking at the stats, bro. Uh, Juju had one more reception than Kelsey, okay? And he
Mhm.
averaged 17.7 yards a catch. That's big time, okay? Valdez Scantling only had 3 receptions, okay? But he was
Like at
averaging
30,
37.
37. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, they hit
amazing.
a hit us they hit us with a lot of big plays that game, and it was it felt like almost every time they snapped the ball they were going deep. You know,
Yeah.
that's how they play, and then that's really their game. You know,
Mm-hmm. So I mean,
but yeah, it's
credits
they are
credit to that
they
whole
are
organization, man. It,
they are a team to beat. They are like nobody wants to face them Sunday or Monday. You know, like
yeah.
nobody wants to face this team.
Like even though the Bills beat them in the regular season, I'm still
Yeah,
saying that the kings of
but
the AFC is the Chiefs.
is the Chiefs.
And this is the way I am. If I seen that there's been a consistently good team in a conference, then I'm always like until someone from that conference dethrones them by championship, then
Yeah,
that's when they get dethroned. But just because you go to a Super Bowl and they didn't doesn't mean that you are you're now the new king. Like I don't view Cincinnati as the new king of the AFC because they went to the Super Bowl and the Chiefs didn't. No,
yeah.
because like look, the Bengals are struggling right now. Um and I mean they could be a lot better as the season goes on, but at the end of the day, to me, the person on top of the hill is the Chiefs and then the Bills because Bills have shown a couple seasons now that they can go toe to toe with the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have been, just slightly better. And
Slightly, yeah, yeah.
that's that to me that's the pecking order in this conference. And I it sucks for me because I'm in this conference and it sucks even more for me cuz I'm in the same division. So
Yeah,
I don't pity you that much because
yeah.
you
We
only
only
got
may get to see him one time this
one
season.
time, yeah, one time a couple of seasons too, man, cuz you
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
switch the divisions and stuff from year to year.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
dude,
man. Just
there's
hats off to these guys.
what positives can you take away from San Francisco? If you can say like, man, if I had to hang my hat on something, what is it? Something that you can build on.
Something we could build on is definitely we starting off the game strong. We started off the game pretty strong in the last few weeks. We kind of stumbled along until we kind of got momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Starting off the game strong was good, but we gotta keep going. You know, they just gotta keep rolling and getting uh converting on third downs is our biggest thing. We don't convert on a lot of third downs.
Mm-hmm.
Um but there's a lot of positivities, just it it just takes that day that week to week kind of thing to really hone in and clean up everything, get rid of the sloppy play, stuff like that, just being basically being what you want to be, like the Chiefs. You want to be that well-oiled machine, and that that's the positivities I think I see. I see we have all these great players. We just we gotta we got to put it to work. You know, we got to, you know,
So I think uh there was a huge positive, and it came at the end of the game. Um, Somebody was throwing some Purdy passes by the name of Purdy.
I was gonna mention him. Yeah.
Yeah. So it looks like
Brock
you got
Purdy got to see some playing time, and
yeah,
he was doing okay. He was doing
yeah. It looked
better than
like
I saw in preseason.
it looked like there's a potential, especially if you guys keep working with him, developing him, kind of like what we were just saying about Kansas City and what they do with their guys. If you
Yeah.
guys do the same thing, it looks like you have a backup to the backup. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a positive sign. But like I really
is,
like
yeah.
the throws that he completed. I was like, wow,
They were good.
that's a really nice throw. And I forgot his last name was Purdy, and I was like, yo, that was a pretty throw.
That was pretty good.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that's pretty good, and that's a Purdy throw.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was doing all the Purdy things. And
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it was nice to see him in there, you know, getting some play, and you know, I mean, he does look significantly better than he did preseason.
yeah, and you don't know what the future holds with Jimmy. Like I don't
Who
think
knows?
I don't think
After
you.
this season, who knows what happens?
Yeah, so it's nice to know that you have a backup for, Trey in case on like
Yeah.
the unfortunate
Yeah, because
possibility
Trey's
of
not
him
out.
getting hurt. Yeah,
Trey's not out of the question. His injury is not career ending. You know, he's gonna recover.
Mhm.
You know, it just due time. I hope they don't rush it. I hope they take his time with him.
Yeah.
Um, and to where he's feeling 100%. And I really think Trey could still be that guy. You know, I really think he could be, not the greatest, but with the development that they put into him, I think he could be a real smart, solid quarterback. You know, and
Yeah.
we'll see when time comes. But I also want to put some note on, like, you're talking about the Chiefs coaching staff and how their coordinators are well in tune with the players and the head coach. Right now, I think the 49ers with their coaching staff right now. Don't get me wrong, Kyle Shanahan is a great football mind. He can really put together an offense, and put together a whole offensive package. But with missing that offensive coordinator, McDaniels, who went to Miami, I think
Yeah.
it's really hurting because with Kyle being this great, football mind and creating an offense, I don't think there's sometimes where he has trouble calling the right plays or stuff like that. So I feel like he needs that help. You know,
Yeah, you make a great point there that I think people might have forgotten and kind of neglected in their thoughts about the team, because that's
yeah,
an excellent point right there, because that's
yeah.
another great mind to bounce ideas off of.
It's off of
and
and that's
and
what we
so that
saw
helps
last
with
season.
that's what helps with adapting, because
Yeah,
like you guys had a strong first half.
mhm.
In the second half, who knows? You guys might not have struggled as much. You guys might have still
Yeah.
lost, but it would have been down to the wire, like the way it was with my team
With the
when we
yeah,
faced them, and you would feel much better about that type of L than just being completely
blown
steamrolled.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because like with getting blown out like that, it's
it
it's
hurts.
it hurts. It hurts. It gets you kind of frustrated because there was like very little takeaway. Like
Yeah,
we had to like reach deep into the pockets to find them. They're there. They're always
yeah,
going to be there. But
yeah,
the thing is, like when you get smacked that bad, everybody from top to bottom didn't do their job.
Exactly.
and so
Yeah.
everyone takes a L, coaching staff included. Everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, even D'Amico Ryan's. I mean, he put together a hell of a defense, and they run a hell of a scheme. But it got picked apart.
yeah,
And when that starts happening, you gotta really think on the fly, and you really gotta start throwing some things in there, and really putting on your guys like, hey,
and
we need to do our jobs. We
and
need to get this done.
and sometimes when you see that your defense is struggling against the other team's offense, that's when your offense needs to
Offense needs to,
come up with a
yeah,
game plan where it like gives the other team less time with the ball. So this way,
mhm,
you're putting the defensive guys out there way more fresher.
yeah.
They could possibly look a lot more like what they look like in the first half, but instead, I mean, I don't know what the time of possession was, but
Uh, Time of possession. The Niners had 33 minutes and 45 seconds. The Chiefs 26 minutes and 15.
so I mean, even then, like it would have been more helpful if you guys, because I mean, you guys already won the time of possession, but you guys
Yeah.
couldn't do much with it. But like
Which with yeah.
but when the defense is out there, they're being demoralized and humiliated, and it's frustrating. They start turning on each other. They're like, I don't know what
Yeah.
to freaking do, and maybe
Yeah,
that's
there was a
that.
lot of that.
Yeah,
There was a lot of like, I don't know, a lot of, heads down, a lot of
yeah,
these guys were mentally being beat, and you know, it was really like demoralizing in a
and
way.
that's when your offense needs to come up with a score, get get
Yeah.
people's spirits up, because I mean, even if you're taking a long time to march down the field and you only walk away with a field goal, well, at least you're
Yeah.
putting up points every time you have the ball, and you're giving,
Yeah.
you're making Patrick Mahomes still need to reach to greater heights because he's like, I barely have any time with the ball, so I need to score like immediately because
And that
if
yeah.
I give them the ball back and with an empty possession, then I'm screwed. I'm gonna put us in a hole,
Yeah.
and so they just had
Yeah.
enough time to start blowing you guys out, and
Yeah, and there was definitely some missed opportunities. There was a punt that the Chiefs punt returner fumbled. We recovered the ball inside the 20, and
hmm
we couldn't get a score. We couldn't get a score. We couldn't get a touchdown.
yeah,
It that was a
Tho-
big
those are
that would
big
have been the big
demoralizer plays. Yeah,
that would have been if we scored a touchdown on that play. I really think that would have the outcome of the game would have been a lot different.
yeah.
Am I saying that we would have won? I don't think so, but I think it would have been a hell of a
Your
closer game.
yeah, your chances would have been a lot better.
Yeah,
That's what you always want. You always want a chance. That's all you can
yeah.
ask for. Um,
Just a drop opportunity right there. But you know,
and
uh,
and
we
to prove your point, bro, about losing your guys' OC, who's now the head coach of the Dolphins.
mhm,
They
yeah,
wound up winning their game against the
yeah,
Steelers. So
yeah, and shout out to over there. It is a great story seeing Tua back on the field.
mhm,
I'm so happy that he's gonna be okay.
mhm.
Because it's some scary stuff when you're dealing with this head injuries,
Yeah,
concussions, and stuff that he had. And I'm glad they're keeping the ball rolling over there.
yeah. So before we get off this subject, your team, how would you grade your backup quarterback, and how would you grade McCaffrey's performance in the little bit that you got to see of both of those guys? Because I think that's really the only kinds of positives right now that you could take away and
Yeah,
something to look forward to in the future, So
yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. Um, I'll start with McCaffrey.
Yeah.
McCaffrey. I mean, what I saw from him, it was really. it was like I don't know if you would say like a breath of, you know,
Fresh
kind
air.
of like fresh air, seeing him run with like how he runs, and he runs with intensity. He cuts real hard, and it was really fun to see that.
Yeah.
And for his little performance, for what it tells, if that entails how he's going to play with this offense in the future games, and he's going to get more snaps, more carries. I think it's going to be great. I give him about give him a C plus right now. I give him a C plus just for it wasn't great performance, but then again he didn't get a lot
Yeah.
because he's real fresh. I'm hoping he's gonna have a full week of practice. He's gonna have a full week to get more plays down. So we'll see come next week if that grade changes.
Hey, you
Because I
know
really
what?
think he's gonna.
It was nice to see him catch a little bit, because he
It was,
averaged.
yeah,
I mean, it was only 2 catches, but both times for 12 yards.
yeah.
So that's exciting to know that you have somebody who, because I said that I think he's a better receiver than he is a runner.
He is,
Um,
yeah.
and and that just kind of goes to show you have another dude who's capable of getting you first downs and doing big chunk plays to
Oh yeah,
to really march down the field. So I would agree with you. It's a C plus for a debut in a short amount of time. Maybe you
for a
can
short amount of
elevate.
time.
Maybe you can make an argument that it's more of a B.
But it's
B
about a C plus, right on the B, like right there. Like,
yeah,
but have he gotten more work? I would have given it a B.
yeah. Because I mean,
But I
50,
think
52 yards in total between the running and the catching, for only having what was it, 3 days, 2 days of preparation, something like that. Like
let's
you
see, basically almost
didn't the
a
trade. Oh, the trade
day and a
happened.
half.
Yeah. Okay. So
Thursday.
yeah, it happened
So
Thursday.
he didn't get to San Francisco till Friday morning,
Uh-huh.
Friday
Yeah.
afternoon, like 12.
Yeah.
And when that happens, most of your day is caught up with media and getting
Yeah.
equipment and all this stuff. So he only, I mean, I was there along the ride because I was like, super excited. Everyone's excited, in San Francisco. I watched all the media about it. He
So
was he
he
was
really
he
only
went out
had
to
the
practice.
Saturday.
He really only had Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, he went
And
to
whatever.
Stanford. He's very
Yeah.
smart. He's a
Okay.
great football mind.
Over here bringing up Stanford. It's like how they bring it up with Richard Sherman. Like this dude.
But I mean,
Yo,
he is smart.
because he went to such a nerdy
Stanford.
school. You over here because you know how to read.
Yeah, I
Because
know
you
how to
read some books. You a playbook is nothing, man. It's just a drawing. It's not even letters,
on,
man.
man.
I mean, the most letters is an X and an O.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, he only had
It's got. Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
that's pretty impressive though, man. Because really, you only have that Saturday, and
It's a fresh new
and
team too. Like
and
he just
early,
met everybody.
early Sunday morning, off of just going off of some like bulletin points, of like, hey, this is what we're gonna try and do. This is what I need from you, and trying to keep it basic and simple.
Yeah.
And I mean, they could have used him more, but I think they were more comfortable with trying not to overload him
Overwork him. Yeah.
over a debut where he only had 1 day to prep and all that, because like, especially with the guy being injury prone, you don't want him to do the wrong thing and cut the
Yeah.
wrong way, or you know what I mean, and he just get himself hurt. So I
I think they played it
we,
very well.
and
with his
especially
debut.
because we both said it would probably be best to just let this guy sit this one out, and
Yeah.
and so I got to give props to him for being willing to play right away.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for you guys. I'm excited on how much he can absorb for the rest of this season to almost make it seem like he was a part of the team all season, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, jumping in right there, right into it, and I mean, when I tell you, like, watching the interviews with these guys,
It was
everyone on the team right now, they were giddy, they were
yeah,
happy. Like
yeah,
Trent Williams was like trying to, like, overcome
yeah,
his excitement. He was smiling the whole time. Like these guys are excited to have this guy, Christian McCaffrey, on the team, and he's excited as well. He's got history with his team. His
yeah,
dad Ed played. You
yeah,
know, and then also uh older Shanahan,
yeah,
Mike Shanahan, coached him in Denver. So it's like it was like meant to be. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
But also a couple another side note, a big loss. Arguably one of the best fullbacks in football, Kyle Juszczyk, out with a broken finger. Sucks. He broke his finger, and he's gonna have surgery on his finger. So
But doesn't something like that usually only take like 4 weeks or
he'll
something
probably
like that
he'll
at
be out like
most?
3 or 4 weeks.
Okay. Hopefully he has a
Yeah,
fast recovery because
yeah,
I know you guys utilize him in many different ways, and
yeah. A lot, believe it or
like
not, a lot of ways.
it's not just blocking for a running back or anything like that. It's
He,
also blocking for the QB. It's also running it himself. It's catches. It's
yeah,
you guys
he's very
you
big for us on some third down plays that we utilize him in a lot. So that'd be
him and Debo are your guys' Swiss Army knife,
yeah,
and so not having one of those guys, especially since you guys got McCaffrey, I mean that's kind of
yeah,
sucks. But you know what? Just thinking of that, like now McCaffrey and him and Debo, you guys got three Swiss Army knives that you can utilize in different ways.
yeah,
Because that's another thing that goes unnoticed. Sometimes I think the reason why McCaffrey has those injuries is because he's not afraid to block and block hard.
yeah,
People
yeah.
don't realize that he like that play that went viral, I think what, week 1 or 2 or something like that, on Tampa Bay and Cowboys, when Fournette
Oh,
went after Micah. Um,
when I tell you Leonard Fournette has black Air Force One vibes, like he is a menace.
yeah,
He like I don't know if you know this, but like he laughs
yeah,
when he blocks somebody real
yeah,
hard, or like he gets hit real hard.
yeah.
He laughs. He loves it,
He's evil.
and he's evil. Like he's a
Yeah, yeah,
menace. Like I don't
yeah,
understand. Like,
yeah,
but yeah, like I know what you mean. Like blocking really hard and going out there and pretty much just playing 110% football. That's what these guys do,
yeah,
And you know what? Injuries are gonna come with that because you're playing hard.
yeah.
Other guys are playing hard.
And he's
It's
and
gonna happen.
and McCaffrey, like, he has total disregard for his body. Like even though he's
Mm.
so shifty, that's why I say, like, I think he's a better wide receiver, because it seems like that's the only time that he tries to be crazy elusive, put the jukes on people and all that. But when he's
Yeah.
running, he's like, I want to be like a traditional running back, and I want to go through people, especially because I'm a small white dude. I want to prove that, like, I ain't your typical white running back, dude. I'm over here, like, you're gonna be talking about me like I'm one of the best to have ever done it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And
Yeah.
sometimes you gotta, make them put some respect on your name by, putting one in their chest and stuff. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's how McCaffrey plays, and I think that goes so unnoticed to people who don't really like follow him. But it's understandable because, like, the Panthers are one of those teams that doesn't get a lot of national attention, and
Yeah.
so most people kind of just know him from highlight plays and fantasy football. They don't really
Yeah.
know. They don't really know him. They don't really feel the need to follow the Panthers. They're not a team that tends to stay relevant like that.
Yeah.
So let's. Oh, quick grade on Purdy, man. Quick one.
Oh, Purdy. I give him I give him B. I give him B.
See, I would have given him a B, but then he threw that interception, and then that's
You're
when I
right.
was
B
like,
minus. B minus. But no, like don't get me wrong. He only had like a few snaps, and he did pretty well.
yeah.
I will say, So it's
And
some bright points.
and he's making plays with some third stringers too. He's not.
Yeah, yeah. No, they all most of the starters were out.
Yeah, they pretty much
last,
they
few minutes.
pretty much emptied out the bench and let those guys do their thing. So yeah, he
Yeah.
deserves some credit because he was making some nice throws, and not to throw the pun again, but those throws were Purdy.
Pretty.
So let's talk about some of the things that kind of like stood out, man. Like example
In all of the NFL right now?
all of the NFL. The example,
This
the number one thing that stood out to me that blew my dang mind was my favorite quarterback. Oh, I can't say of all time, but he's pretty much my favorite, especially because he's my generation's, GOAT. And I know that for the younger generation, it's gonna be Patrick Mahomes as his career keeps going on. But I was surprised that him and his team got a beat down from a team that's been having a fire sale.
Fire sale. Yes.
They're like, we're having a going out sale. Come on. You whatever you want, man. You got it, dude. Just give us a fair deal. The only thing though is we're not getting rid of anything on the defensive side. But any offensive player you want, you can have them. And then on top of that,
Baker Mayfield, you can have him.
Yeah, and on top of that, what was also surprising is you just said that dude's name. Baker Mayfield was not the one throwing the ball. He wasn't slinging that thing, man. It was Paul Walker from the grave. PJ Walker.
Yeah.
But he was the one slinging that thing, dude. And this was like, you know how we said a blowout is a team loss. But when you're the one that's the underdog and you're the one blowing another team out, that is a team win. Especially when, like I just said, they've been having a fire sale. They giving everything away. Everything has to go. Okay.
Garage sale time.
Yeah. And
the team is kind of like all over the place right now. The Panthers, like the former XFL quarterback, you just shipped off your franchise running back. Now you got this guy named Chuba Hubbard in there running the ball. She did a great game.
Yeah.
This is the team that should not beat the Bucks. They should have not beat the Bucks. Like, you would be like, what? No way.
Yeah, man. Hubbard and Foreman out here rushing for 173 yards, man.
Hubba Bubba out here running the ball.
And
I want to say Hubba Bubba so bad. His name's Chuba Hubbard.
And then, so they rushed for 173 yards, and then they passed for 177 yards. Like, they were equal with both ways of running their offense. And then, like, defensively, I mean, these guys were shutting down everybody. And the other thing is, like, what's demoralizing is like Mike Evans had a catch, a beautiful throw to him, and he drops the ball. He fumbles. You see him doing hot potato with the
Yeah.
ball, and yeah, and I bet for him, because I've been there before, like in my younger days, where you do something like that, like you're over here like mishandling the ball, it feels like forever. It feels like slow motion is going on, and everything you keep doing with your hands is the wrong thing. And every time that ball
Yeah.
keeps popping out of your hands, you're like, no, 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 until it's over with. And and
Yeah.
I bet he felt like that because it was going to be the easiest touchdown that he was going to have um, all season up until that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the other TDs were way more difficult compared to that one. That throw was like Patrick Mahomes, what he does to a lot of teams, where he catches one dude completely wide open, and it was the easiest
Oh yeah.
thing. Like it was, and man, dude, I felt bad for Tom Brady on that throw. I'm not taking any kind of blame away from him, but for that one throw, that's where I got to take the blame away from him because it was perfect dime. It was exactly where you want it to be. Evans never had to slow down for the ball. It was the easiest, just scoop it, man. You got it, dude.
You gotta
And
catch those.
a perfect spiral too. It
Yeah.
was like when the teddy bear was thrown at Mark Wahlberg, bro. Remember? And the, and the
Yeah.
perfect spiral. That was that
Perfect
moment.
spiral.
And yeah, dude, it was so bad
Yeah.
they couldn't do nothing right, dude. And it
The
was
run game was not there. Like it was just a bad day for the Bucks. Like I don't. Yeah.
and I feel like this has been just a bad year for the Bucks. Like they're 3-4 now.
Yeah.
You know, like they lost to the Steelers, um, and they lost to the Packers, and they lost to the Chiefs, and they were having a hard time with the Falcons. Really,
Yeah.
the only two games where they kind of like put them away, where it wasn't like a close one, was Cowboys and Saints.
Yeah.
You know, the one against the Cowboys was 19-3. One against the Saints was 20-10, and then everything else after that has been a close call. And except for the one with the Chiefs, you know, they lost that one 41-31. But
Hmm.
the other ones were close calls, man. And that's unlike Tom Brady. The only time that he's ever kind of struggled that way was his last couple years in New England when he didn't have as much help. And
Yeah.
I think the Bucks have a problem on their hands, man. I don't.
I
I'm not.
mean,
I'm not the one to ever be hitting the panic button, but I think I think you kind of have to if you're the Bucks. But
you
go
got to
ahead,
do
man.
some searching.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be on both sides of the ball. You know,
Yeah.
they got to really figure out what's going on and key on that and fix it. You know, because Tom Brady didn't throw his marriage away to be losing to an XFL quarterback.
Yeah, and you know what? And this is especially
I
bad
don't know. I don't know if it's if like I'm not like joking like that, but like I don't know if that is weighing on him. You know, like I don't know. You
it
know,
could
who knows
be
what's going on with Tom. You know, like
because I
because he
mean, there's
doesn't look like himself. You know,
yeah,
he doesn't
yeah.
look he.
Oh,
Who knows? But
part of that has to be the things going on in his personal life with his wife.
yeah,
And
it has to be, you know, and it sucks that it's that, and you're Tom Brady, and obviously it's going to be in the news, it's going to be everywhere, so you're going to see it a lot. You know, you already have to deal with it. You're going to see it. People are going to be
yeah,
talking about it. So you know, I mean, you know, I hope he can, you know, come away with a decent season. You know, I wouldn't want this to be his. If it's a dud season, I wouldn't want it to be his last. You know, at least
Yeah, I don't want
see
this to
him
be his last
try to
either.
make the playoffs. You know, when we already know it's probably gonna be his last.
I feel like, man, dude, I can't put my finger on any one thing, so it must be a plethora of things. Like
Mhm.
like for instance, Leonard Fournette, remember what was the big news in the offseason? He's overweight by a
Mhm.
lot, not even by a little bit, and then he goes and tells people, I think it was the Pivot podcast where he goes and says, I always use the off season, or not the off season, the training camp is my time to get back into shape and all that. And it's like, you
No,
know,
man, you
you
gotta
got
be. You gotta
you got to
be.
use some of your off season before you get to mandatory camp to get
Yeah,
into shape, man. You
he's
can't.
out here looking like Eddie Lacy.
And like if you want to eat your like eat the way you want to eat, then like at least be putting the work in to like burn the calories, man. To
Yeah,
burn some of
that
it. It
just
doesn't even have to be all of it, just some of it.
yeah. Yeah, I just mentioned Eddie Lacy. I don't remember
No,
Eddie
I
Lacy.
remember. I remember.
He
I
was a
loved
great
him,
running back,
but he was fat,
and then he put on pounds, and it
and
really
and
his
he didn't,
game really suffered.
and he didn't. He would never put in the work
Yeah,
to not only just lose the weight, but he just slowly started to lose
to
interest in
descent.
football, and he
Well,
was getting
yeah,
worse and worse, and
and
he just
I really would hate to see Leonard Fournette go down that same road. Like he's a great running back. Like he
like if this is
just got to
Tom's
put
last
the
year, if this is Tom's last year, like Leonard Fournette has to look himself in the mirror and
oh yeah
say, I had a part to do with that. This wasn't him. If he has a, if Tom goes out on a bad note, he has to look at himself and say, I had a part to do with that because I didn't give him my absolute best from the get go.
from the get go. You
Because
got to.
yeah, you have to, man. Especially with Tom, yes, he's getting older and that does different things to his body, but he sacrificed a lot, including possibly his marriage, in
Mhm.
order to achieve more things for his legacy. And then, this is especially a bad look because, like you mentioned, and also I mentioned, but you said, hey, he lost to an XFL quarterback. And then I said that it's to a team that is having a fire sale.
The Fires, it's a team that shouldn't be,
It,
you would
it's
think, winning games.
it looks especially bad when the week before, what was trending that involved the Bucks? It was Tom Brady
Brady
yelling at his
at
O line,
his line. Yeah, big time.
and like I I suppose he wasn't really like running for his life or whatever. He had like I think only one sack, but like when you see that like he's over here turning into Psycho Tom because of a game that he feels that they shouldn't be losing or
Yeah,
struggling with. Um, that's when you're like, all right, dude, I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't have to get to that level again. I need to raise my game up. His offensive lineman, one of them, I think it might have been the main one that he was yelling at. That he went and spoke out and said, I like it when he yells at me because it makes me like raise my game. It puts things out on Front Street for me because
yeah,
I'm not really noticing how much my play is affecting the team's success or whatever. Well, it's like, okay, if you say that, then if you want me to believe that, then I guess, whatever ass kicking he gives you, you gotta love that too. So when he punches you in the face,
yeah,
if that happens, you better say,
yeah.
I
You better
love
love it.
I love getting black eyes from Tom. You know, I told my dentist I like missing some teeth. You know,
Yeah, boy. Yeah,
like come on, man.
but it
21 to
shouldn't be
3.
getting to that point, man. It shouldn't be getting to that point though. Like for him to yell at you, it shouldn't be. You should be like, this is Tom Brady, man. Like you got to play your heart out for him.
Yeah.
Not just
And
for him, play your heart out for yourself. Like,
yeah, have
you
some
know,
self pride, man.
exactly.
Because it's one thing like when because every good team tends to have a couple games here and there where they struggle to a lesser team. But
Yeah,
like
it's gonna happen any given day. It's gonna happen.
but a blowout to that magnitude, that's
They didn't
what
even score a
shouldn't happen.
touchdown. They didn't
That
even score a touchdown.
yeah, and that's what should never happen.
Yeah.
Like so like I do have to give Tom some blame for that. It's not because I if I said it was true for the Niners, then it has to be true also for the Buccaneers and any other team that gets their butts kicked like that. So this is especially this sport in particular is a team sport, and you need all of the cogs to be moving right. And like
Yeah.
how you mentioned, Kansas City is a well-oiled machine. If you have one cog messed up in that machine, you're gonna look bad. So like Kansas City, when I said they don't look like the same offense, they're doing things, but they're not quite the same. It was only because, like, I know what bless you. I know what level of greatness that they had with Tyreek, and
Yeah.
so I was trying to keep that same bar, even if it's different faces. And now it looks like that they're getting there, and they know that if they want to win a chip, they have to look like that, because
Oh yeah.
otherwise they might not ever make another Super Bowl, because everybody's out for their heads. Because, like how I said, they're the king of the hill. When you have a Tom Brady on your team, you're automatically a king of the hill, whether another team in your conference wins a Super Bowl or not, because you're talking about a guy who has uh almost the same amount of rings as he does fingers.
Yeah.
So
It,
you you
yeah.
gotta you gotta keep that standard high, and do your part, do your job, and
Yeah. It's also like, seeing the team when they got when they got Tom, and seeing how well they came out, and they were playing, playing so much better, and now they're just kind of just falling off.
yeah, every year they're getting a little bit
And
worse.
a little bit worse. So
And that
we'll
could be an ego thing,
yeah,
and
could
feeling
be
like
anything,
they got nothing to prove. Like I think Leonard Fournette, that first year when he got there, he knew he had to really put his butt in gear, because he had something to prove for the entire league, and
Mhm.
also the fact that he's on a team uh whose goals and aspirations is to win a Super Bowl, because they have the greatest quarterback of all time on their team. So he knew he had to
Yeah,
bring it to another level, but now I feel like he's getting too comfortable, and that's why his weight was
definitely.
way worse this offseason than it was last offseason, you know? And I'm sure there's other guys that are very similar in that way. It might not be to the extent of Leonard Fournette, but it could be a thing where, everybody's just slacking because they're getting too comfortable.
Yeah, yeah, and then that also, that falls on the coaching staff too. They got to be holding these players accountable if they really are just getting too comfortable.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I got to put some blame on Tom, because he from if the reports are true, which I believe they are true, about Tom Brady, him not wanting BA to be his head coach, and so that's why they went with Todd Bowles, because he wanted Todd Bowles. Then that's also your decision. If they're not successful, and you feel like it's because coaches aren't helping the players,
Yeah,
get right and all that kind of stuff. Because like the defense for Tampa is really bad this year. And Todd
Oh
Bowles
yeah.
was their defensive coordinator, but now that he's the head coach, I mean, he has to manage the offensive side too. So you know
Yeah.
how you were bringing up McDaniel's being the head coach for the Dolphins,
Miami. Yeah.
and he's no longer your guys' OC. How that affects your guys' ability to play call offensively,
Yeah.
like
I mean, now look at
you know,
it vice versa. We lost the the OC mind in Miami gained that.
yeah,
Look how their play. Look how their play is
yeah,
drastically went up. Adding McDaniel's as the head coach and still I mean I don't know if he's calling plays, but I would assume he's calling plays.
yeah,
You know, so it just goes to show you like one coach shouldn't have to do it all.
yeah. Um. So, is there a game that stood out to you outside of the
Um,
Bucks Panthers game? Is there a game you want to talk about?
the Bucks Panthers game was definitely an eye opening game.
Uh huh.
Uh, I would say another game which a team is that you wouldn't like if I would have told you you know before the season that Geno Smith and the Seahawks would be leading the NFC West division, and they just put a whooping on the Chargers. Would you believe me?
Hell no,
No.
no.
That was
Not
another surprise.
not
I
unless
mean,
he was saying I wanted to challenge myself in Madden. So,
yeah. Uh,
so yeah,
the
that's the only way
Seahawks
I'd
beat the
believe you. Yeah, yeah.
Seahawks beat the Chargers 37-23, and I don't know what it is, but they got rid of they traded Russell Wilson, and it looks like the Seahawks are doing well for themselves.
Yeah, for them it was a addition by subtraction.
It was addition by subtraction, and I mean you can go to say that they have a couple players for if that could be in the running for um uh defense. I think defensive and offensive rookies of the year.
Mhm.
Uh, they have a couple players that are in the running or that, and I don't know what it is, but Gino is playing well. I don't know what it is. If it's a new team, new system for him that's working well, or if it's Pete Carroll, who knows what it is, but he's not playing of Gino of lately.
Yeah, he's definitely like miles apart from the
I
Geno
mean,
that was the Jets quarterback and the Geno that's the Seahawks quarterback.
I mean,
And
20 and 27, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Like,
and and dude, I remember I was scratching my head. Like I remember vividly, okay? When when Deshaun Watson was available for trade, and then when Baker was available for trade, and then when Jimmy G was semi available for trade, the Seahawks said, "Nah, I'm good."
yeah,
Because like other people would make the rumors about them, and then they would always have to
yeah,
make a statement and be like, "Nah, that's not true.
we're good.
I don't
Yeah,
know where you heard that from, but nah, I
and I mean, look
I
at
ain't called them.
Kenneth Walker.
They called us, but yeah,
Yeah, they ain't call back.
your twinsy Kenneth
Kenneth
went off.
Walker the third, 23 carries, 160 yards. I mean, like,
It's
man, like
crazy, bro. It's crazy. Two TDs.
they he is looking good since they lost Rashad Penny.
Mhm.
So that's some bright points for them uh going forward that their young guy is you know looking good. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
and
I wouldn't if you told me they would be 4-3 leading the AFC West right now. and you would
And
tell
then
I would be
and
like, "You're crazy."
and I also wouldn't believe you if you told me, "Oh yeah," and then like they would put a whooping on the Chargers, having traded for Khalil Mack and do all
Man,
the things that
yeah.
they did to make themselves look real
Yeah.
good. Um, I would not believe you, and I would say quit playing, man.
Yeah.
Quit trying to tell me that no, it's in real life, not Madden, man. Who you fooling? Uh, this this is not the case, man. These guys couldn't. They also couldn't run the ball.
Nope.
Couldn't really run it, and
Austin Eckler, 9 carries, 31 yards, like, not very good, I mean, he caught the ball out of caught the ball better than he ran the ball.
and and Herbert had a terrible QBR, man.
Oh,
26.8 for a QBR
yeah.
out of 100.
Yeah.
And if you were to round up Geno's, it would be a 60, which isn't that bad. But like,
Yeah.
I would not believe you that the duel between Geno and Herbert is in Geno's favor. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy, and then like you said, them leading your guys' division.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow,
like I
that
said before, they're that sneaky team that's not making noise, but there's like they are making noise. They're not making noise with like players. They're making noise with wins. Like to me, this for my division, this is the team that we gotta beat. And it comes from full circle. The Seahawks have always been our rivals in the division.
dude, you know what's gonna really suck for you is if even if they still turn out to have a bad year. Let's say like they're just really pesky in the beginning of the season, okay, and then they start
Yeah,
falling more to where people expected them to be like a just a bad team or whatever, record
yeah.
wise. Then that means that they have some some high value draft picks, and then the Broncos, who are terrible, had to trade those draft picks in order to get
Pigs
Russ.
to Seattle. Yeah,
And then whatever development that they've been doing to these guys to make them this good this early, like you have that plus the combination of high draft picks to give them higher quality players. They're a team that can turn it around real fast. And
and they
Pete
could
Car-
be the Seattle of old, the
I'm
Legion of
not,
Boom days. Like,
yeah, I'm not a fan of Pete Carroll for like older vets, but I am a fan of Pete Carroll when it comes to younger players because he's more of a college
he's
type
good.
coach.
Yeah, he's very good at developing players.
Yeah.
Like it
He
when you
wears on
look at
guys. He wears on guys after they've been in the league for a while, and then they also find out
yeah.
that like, oh, we get treated a certain way on other teams, and they're like, we don't get treated like that. What the heck? Like
Yeah,
we're still being
yeah,
talked to like we're boys and stuff, man. When like I'm a grown ass man now, that kind of thing. So
yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
guys
We'll
have a
see.
problem on your hands, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be like a lot of people say that the NFC, the conference in total is kind of wide open, but the West is more wide open. The division, the NFC West, could go anywhere. We could go Seattle. The Rams could get hot out of nowhere. You know, we could get hot out of nowhere. The Cardinals can make a run for it. Who knows? Like. But right now, Seattle is trying to put their stamp on like, hey, we're here, we're knocking, hello, you know. But yeah, that was the game for me. Or when I looked at my phone, I was like, damn, okay, all right, I see you guys making noise, all right. But yeah,
Yeah, and then kind of piggybacking about like a division being open, it's also the conference for both conferences are kind of open
Kind of open, yeah.
because like I
Like, yeah, you
expected.
have those one or two teams that like NFC. You got the Eagles, 6-0. You could argue that the Giants are up there 6-1. You got those teams that are going to be really good. Like in the AFC, you got the Bills and you got the Chiefs, and that's about it.
But like I would say like as far as confidently saying that they're going to be the top dogs in their conference, it's only two teams in the AFC that I have like full trust in, Bills and Chiefs. And in the
Yeah,
NFC, like dude, going into the season you would say Packers and Buccaneers. And no,
yeah.
it's not it doesn't seem that way
That's
because
opposite.
you brought up the Eagles. I mean, like I don't know how many more games we need in order to be like confidently saying, yeah, they're the top dogs for sure. Like
Yeah,
they're, you know what I mean? And the same thing with the Giants. I don't know how many wins they need to be able to say we're top dogs. Um and you kind of can't, as much as I hate to say this, but you kind of can't count out the Cowboys either because they also have
yeah.
a nice winning record as well. That division has three big time winners in it, and like I don't know, I when it comes to
Besides those
NFC,
three, it's anybody's game at that point.
and then
Besides those three,
when it came to your division, dog, because like the if I had to give a third team to be the top dog in the NFC, it would be your team, and then number
yeah,
one in your division. I expected your division to be like kind of smooth sailing for you in a way, except for maybe going up against the Rams.
yeah,
But as of right now, like you said, Seattle's the top dog right now.
yeah.
And
Right now,
all you other guys are same record, 3-4.
yeah. And we got Rams next. Niners got the Rams next week coming off a bye, so we'll see how that plays. It's also gonna play into our division standings.
Mhm.
So
And like to just kind of go by conferences real quick, like the NFC South should have been a bit of a cakewalk for Tampa Bay,
hmm
and it has not. I mean, Atlanta shows about the same amount of talent as Tampa Bay. Like they're capable of pulling out some dubs. They have the same record. They're 3-4. But
yeah,
like the games that you don't expect them to win, they've won.
yeah,
And then but then they've also been kind of a letdown where games where you don't expect them, like when you were like, man, they should be able to beat them and they're gonna look real good. Either way, they're still looking good. I feel like they have a bright future ahead of them.
oh yeah, for sure. You
But
know,
then the NFC North, I actually did not. I was not that big of a believer in Minnesota. I thought that they were gonna start trending downwards. But they're 5-1, and
yeah,
I thought Green Bay knew exactly what they were doing when they were gonna lose Devontae. That they were gonna like really make sure that they were great. I don't know, man.
Packers on a 3-game losing streak right now.
They looking
Three
real.
games.
They're looking real trashy.
And you know what? The Bears are on the prowl.
And
There's no
and the
blood over there.
and the Bears. Speaking of the Bears, man,
The Bears,
the Bears,
they had a
what
big
they
win tonight
what they
on
did,
Monday.
what they did tonight was kind of scary. Like,
Yeah.
dude,
So they're
this is what was scary. Okay, they were like, we're gonna let everybody run on these fools, and and they ran for
exactly.
243 yards,
Yeah.
82 yards from your quarterback.
We're back.
Boy, they
And
have
yeah,
more. more
Montgomery and Khalil Herbert too running, man.
more rushing yards than they did passing yards by almost 100. Like, damn, bro. Like, how do
Yeah,
you do
man.
that? You like, man, and you're Bill Belichick, bro. You're supposed to be like a master of defense, and they ran all over you. I mean, I don't know. There's a dude on the defensive side that I like on in the trenches, but I don't know if he was playing. I don't think he was, man. This dude and I shared the same first name. Um, yeah, no, I don't think he did. I'm looking, but man, just getting ran all over. Like all these guys got footprints on their faces. Like they can tell you what size shoe everybody was wearing
Yeah,
that ran on
yeah,
them, bro.
man.
Like it's crazy. Like that must be the most demoralizing feeling ever. I don't know what the record is for a Russian in a game, like team wise, or if like that's not a big deal that like it's big numbers have happened like that before. Um, but that's definitely got to be something that was at the very least the most rushing yards for this season
Yeah.
because that was historic to me, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, man. Sad day. If you're a Patriots fan, dog, you cannot have been happy about that. And then
Yeah.
I think not only did they run on them, but the defense was like really
Oh,
good. Cause
really good. Playing really well.
cause oh yeah, I was right. They couldn't wait for Mac Jones to get pulled out of there, man.
Yeah. It was kind of weird because uh, Belichick decided to go with a quarterback committee
Yeah.
that game. They was playing
Well,
both of his quarterbacks.
yeah, but I mean Jones didn't have like any snaps, but both QBs with a low QBR and passer rating, and damn, bro, both both people that are tied to this New England franchise took major L's. Tom
Take
Brady
major ass. Tom
and the
Brady,
Patriots.
Bella. Yeah.
Yeah, bro, like
Belichick.
wow.
Yeah.
This was not a good week for Patriot fans that are also still fans of Tom Brady. This is not a good week.
No, they took double L's, man.
Yo, that's crazy.
Let's talk about some other big topics. There's a lot of big moves, a lot of big losses this week in the in NFL. Brees Hall tears his
mm,
ACL. He's out.
you never want to hear
Man,
that.
that you never want to hear that. But I hope he has a good recovery. But
Mm,
the Jets go out and get James Robinson from Jacksonville.
yeah.
A dog. A dog than James
Mm,
Robinson.
yeah. When I saw the news, I was like, well, the Jets just got better, and they're having a hell of a season, dude. They're five and
Yeah.
two in their division.
Yes.
Um,
And I mean it's good. It's good
AFC East is
for
probably the best division right now in the AFC.
yeah. It's good for Robinson because
He gets out of a
he
bad situation.
he gets out of a bad situation. The Jags are kind of, a letdown right now. He's having to battle for snaps with Travis Etienne Jr. Etienne,
Yeah.
and now he's going to be the RB1 of the Jets.
Yeah,
know?
and I don't know how long it's gonna take for Jacksonville to start flashing that they're trending towards a good direction. Cause like right now, they're not looking like a you know how like we just brought up the Seahawks. You
Yeah.
know, we said that they're a problem because they're young and they're doing really well and they're uh the leaders in your division. And that was unexpected. And there's other teams that are kind of like similar like that where they're too young to know any better about
Yeah.
them needing to be counted out and things like that. Like they're ahead of their development schedule.
They're like,
Or
we were not supposed to be good? What are
yeah,
you talking about? Like,
yeah,
yeah. And
Jacksonville
that's this Jets team, man.
and Jacksonville is like different because I remember like how many people were on Trevor Lawrence's sack, bro.
Sunshine.
Yeah, and
I know.
the
So many
other
people were.
the other broski was a big time lover of his, man. And I said, I don't know, man. I don't feel that convinced. I don't like. I'm not gonna overhear. Like I don't sip the Kool Aid on the whole like you know someone is the next goat. You have to show me it because once upon a time the goat of right now was a low draft pick that nobody wanted. He didn't look the part, but then when it came time, he played the part. But people kept wanting to disregard him because he didn't look the part and he didn't time well and things like that in the combine. They use all this stuff that don't matter against him rather than the game he was putting up every week. Unlike Trevor Lawrence, where it was a little bit of the reverse. And so they're like, they look at the long flowing, shiny
Flowing
golden hair, and they see a nice, pretty looking smile, and a nice, pretty looking throw, and his like his demeanor and his voice, and he's like, man, he's just so cool.
He's so cool.
But what did he do? What did he really do? When you needed him to show up in college, did he really show up like that, or did he just have some nice stats?
He did. He had some nice stats, man.
And so, I mean, Jacksonville's 2-5.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can still look like a bad team, win-loss record, and still look actually promising. Like I think Houston is promising, and they're 1-4, 1-4-1. So there's a difference. I don't know. I don't know, man. And then Carolina, they're a losing team too, but they look good to me. Maybe not from the quarterback side, but they look good to me on that defensive side.
Oh yeah, Brian Burns, man, he looks good.
He ranks in the top 10 of pass rushers, man.
Yeah.
Like they have some things to hang their hats on. And there's other teams that are huge letdowns that cannot do the same. But you know who definitely can to extra prove my point? The New York Jets. Like, dude, this is insane that they're 5-2 in a division that has Buffalo and Miami, and who a lot of people consider the GOAT coach and Bill Belichick, with probably the best organization outside of possibly the Cowboys. Like
Agreed.
like they're in the thick of it.
Oh,
the Jets have always been something not to sniff at.
Yeah.
But man, do they smell good right now at 5-2?
before this, all everyone knew about the Jets was butt fumble. That's all they
Butt
knew.
fumble, and then that one draft where they had to do a former player do the Jets Jets thing, and
Yeah,
he misspelt it.
he misspelled it. That was it. That's all they
Yeah,
were known for. But now they're known for winning football games right now. I'll tell you that.
and punching you in your mouth, man, because that defense is hella good, bro. It's
Bro,
scary good.
so good. Scary good.
If you have a scary good defense, you should always be in it.
Oh yeah.
And them getting that trade off, especially with the news that Hall was gonna be out, man. That was big
Mhm.
time. Like they were like, nope,
Big time.
we have too much momentum to start trending
Or
backwards, man.
they were like, we gotta go in. We gotta
Yeah.
go in and stay with it. So that's a big time move for them. And to
Mm-hmm.
do it right away. They did it right away. Right away. Like it it was fast.
So another thing in news that I completely forgot about when we were on the subject of Tampa Bay. Do you have a problem with the ref who went to get Mike Evans' autograph? I have a
I
problem with
didn't
it.
know that was a thing. I didn't know
You
I
didn't?
didn't
Oh,
know
you
that
didn't
it
hear about that?
happened. No, I did
Okay, yeah,
not. That's news to me right now.
yeah. So,
So
I,
a referee after the
uh,
game went to get
uh, I don't remember if it was after or during. At some
okay,
point,
if it was
I don't.
during, I would have been a little bit like that's a little bit unprofessional. If it was
Uh-huh.
after, I kind of wouldn't have a problem with because I mean, refs,
Okay, it was
yeah, if
after.
they're
It was
doing it
after the game, but still,
after the game,
the fact that it even happened, dog. Like, how would you have felt if the refs that was officiating your game was a big Patrick Mahomes fan and went out and asked for his
it's
autograph?
yeah, it's definitely not a good look, you know. You when you put it in that perspective, it it's not a good look.
Because
You're gonna have a lot of people, you know,
if I told you that happened,
calling you out.
if I told you that had happened, would you then be like questioning every call that you
Every
had in that
call,
game?
you would question the whole game, whether it would be like these cheating man,
Yeah,
they cheated us. That's what
yeah.
you would think, right? So I mean, it is a bad look, you know, and some can go to say it's very unprofessional
Hmm.
because you being the officiator, the ref in the game, you know,
Would you
he could have handled it a different way.
if they don't suspend him or fire him? Would you trust him refing your game?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't
What
trust this
about
guy.
you?
I
No,
wouldn't trust this guy, and I would probably be doing research to see if he officiated any of my past games
true. Yeah,
because
I did not know this it happened.
the only thing that is like a bit of a saving grace to him is the fact that this had kind of like no impact on
On the game.
the game because they got their
Yeah.
butts kicked, and so I mean in that way I guess, and that was always a problem with like what leagues had with fantasy because there were
Yeah.
always like I can't tell these guys not to play fantasy because like for some people they do it for money and other people they do it just for fun and you don't know which
Yeah.
one is which and
Yeah.
you don't know how serious they take it and so then you start feeling like there's a tampering going on and so like people start questioning the
And it
integrity of the refs
yeah.
and
I mean that goes that I mean this stuff goes back a long time too. I mean, like looking back in the day with the NBA, you know, look the
yeah
whole scandal that the NBA had with,
yeah Tim
they
Donahue and they had
Team
another,
Dominic
and they
Donaghy,
had that. They had one other ref too, but Tim Donaghy was the biggest one.
the biggest one. And like you said, these guys may play fantasy, they may play for money, they may just play for fun. But you got to put it on. If they play for money, you got to put it along the lines. That's betting. That like you're betting on your team, your fantasy team, and your season. And you're a referee in the NFL, and you probably have some way to make things go your way. And then I mean that's kind of messed up.
I wonder how much NFL referees make, because it would be even worse if they're not well compensated, that they feel like they got to do it for money, and it's not just like a few dollars. Like they
Yeah,
like, man, I need this to work because like, bruh, I'm in the bind. Like I, you know what I
yeah.
mean?
I would think they got paid well. I mean, football being one of the biggest sports in America.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay, so I
but
just
yeah,
looked up the average salary is 205K. So
a year.
yeah. So I mean,
That's okay.
I don't know if they got to like ever use their own money to pay their own way to get from place to place and hotels and all that.
I don't think so because you also think the referees committee and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So
They
I'm
probably
hoping,
take a lot of that. You
yeah,
know,
I'm hoping that that
the NFL
none of their,
probably helps with that.
yeah, because like that should be something that the NFL should take care of for them.
Yeah,
And so like all of the money that they make should just be to them and their bills that they have to pay, at home.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, dude, it's crazy. It's gonna be interesting to find out. The NFL said they're gonna be doing
It's
an
gonna
investigation, and
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope they actually really do a good investigation because you never know what else could be lying underneath the sheets.
yeah, I don't know if he what's also gonna suck, man. Whatever games he refed,
Officiated before.
there might be an
Yeah,
asterisk. There might be an
yeah. Who
asterisk to
knows?
someone's ear where they're like, "Yo, they won the Super Bowl, but like they wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for these 3 games that they won." Or something like that. I don't know. Like that's
Yeah,
something's always going to be put into
it's
question.
gonna
Like
raise a lot of eyebrows.
like the thing with the Tim Donaghy thing, going back to that, and we know this really well because he affected the Sacramento Kings, and
Yes.
we're from Sacramento, and
Yeah.
that is the thing that pulls on our heartstrings. Anybody who's from here, who's a fan, even if you wasn't even a fan of the
I watched
team,
the
you've heard
documentary.
it. You've
Yeah, you've heard of it.
heard it. You heard it. Like if you're a brand new person, you're gonna hear it at some point. It does not escape. And that was in 2001. Okay, we're still talking about it to this day, like it happened yesterday. That's how
Mhm.
much it hurts to this day. Okay, and so we feel that there's an asterisk on the Lakers winning the chip that year. And a lot of fans that aren't Laker fans believe that as well, that have knowledge of that as well. So it's not just a Sacramento thing. There's plenty of people, even journalists to this day, talk about how they were literally robbed of a championship
Mhm.
because there is no way that, I think it might have been the Pacers that were in the finals that year, either the Pacers or
I think it was.
or the Nets, one of the two teams. They were smacked by the Kings all year, so there was no way that they were gonna uh, lose to one of those teams. Especially back then, the East was kind of really inferior to the top guys out west. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's something that we're gonna have to be following and talk about again, potentially in the future, and also just
Oh yeah.
like I said, if somebody wins some games. I don't know if he's done any team back to back or anything like that. But if they do, there's probably gonna be some fans that want to have an asterisk.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure, for sure. That's some good news. I didn't even know about that. That's crazy.
yeah. Is there anything else in the NFL that you want to talk about?
Um, not many major news. Just the whole thing. A lot of people, looking at Aaron Rodgers. A lot of people looking at Brady. Can he still do it? They still, are they still, are they on their way out? This sort of thing. But we'll see. We'll see. Only time to. It's only, we got hell of a lot of games to play this season. Who knows what's gonna happen. Another big thing, well, not big thing, but just big move that the Colts made and decision of benching Matt Ryan and starting
Yeah,
Ellinger. That's a bold move. You know, so we'll
yeah. I
see.
don't,
We'll see how that happens.
I don't know if they're gonna have any more success with him versus Matt Ryan,
Yeah,
but I'm wondering if I'm Matt, uh, is it time to hang it up, man?
hang it up. I mean, Matty Ice. It's the ice is melting.
Yeah,
Because and I know that man, Matt Ryan through the years had been
he
he's
was good in
really
his day,
good
bro.
quarterback. He
I
was good
remember
for the Atlanta.
this dating me, but I remember when he came into the league as a rookie.
Yeah,
I was in I was in I don't remember what year he got in. I think I was already a teenager by that point. But um I remember I was a big fan of his, and but me as someone who kind of paid attention over the years because he was one of my favorite younger quarterbacks as I was growing up.
yeah,
Me being a big fan of his because I saw him almost the same way as Peyton Manning in a way. And so for me there was that always this like fond memory of him. So that's why I always kept up with him. And I saw over the years he just kind of wasn't quite the same, and he was but then he had a little bit of a resurgence when Kyle Shanahan was his OC and he went to that
yeah,
Super Bowl. But then after that Super Bowl, he just him and that team was never really the same.
yeah.
And so, if I was him, I just call it quits, man. Just call it. Um,
I mean, yeah, it's most likely looking that way. And you know what?
or or I just ask the team, yo, is there some way you guys can release me? So this
Or yeah,
way,
get released.
because this way he can be available to a team that maybe loses their quarterback at the wrong time
Yeah,
and shit like that. Because I don't see how anybody could trade for him, give up some kind of asset for a contract that's kind of big. Um, I don't know, man.
yeah,
They're doing them kind of dirty, I think, in a way.
a little bit, yeah. But who knows? We'll see. Hopefully, it works out for him.
Yeah, us and the rest of the world
Yeah.
is gonna stay tuned to that. Um,
Yeah, that's just some. This is the other little news that was going on.
yeah.
I
So
think we covered a lot of the main points,
so let's
that we wanted to cover.
let's switch leagues, man. Let's switch leagues real quick and talk about that for a little bit, and then
Yeah.
after that, we can call it a wrap. But before I do that, I want to do something that I forgot to do in the very beginning, but I told myself I'm
Hmm.
gonna be definitely doing it. Uh, midstream and end of stream is if you ain't subscribed, please subscribe. Please like, share, comment. I'm so bad at it, man. Like this is such a bad
We're gonna make a
habit.
thing. We're gonna make a thing in it before you even start talking that pops up that goes ting, like, subscribe, hit the bell so that you don't have to say it anymore. It's just gonna be a little pop up that goes "Ding."
Dude.
Like and subscribe, comment.
And if we ever start to blow up or whatever, like I would love for people to make fun of me in the chat. Be like, he hasn't done it yet. He hasn't done it
He
yet.
hasn't done
You know.
it yet. Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't feel like subscribing, at least like or comment. Either one of those two. It helps with the algorithm. Helps us reach out to more people. Um, but yeah, we definitely want to hear from you guys. I pay attention to the comments. And now that the NBA has came in uh, and, and started their season. This is the best time of the year to be a sports fan and not just a purely football fan or purely a Raider fan. Like we're talking about everything, and then with us being out in the West Coast area, we know that we have a lot of Raider fans and Niner fans, and those are the two I think most dominant fan bases, not only Cali but also in like in Nevada and Oregon, places out west. So we do deeper dives on those two teams on the football front. So
Yeah.
please like and subscribe and share with other people. I think we're doing a much better job of not just being informative. I think we've been cracking some jokes here from time to time. So uh, now let's get to the NBA. Let's talk about things. It's very early in the season. Some teams haven't. If you're like the Milwaukee Bucks, man, you only play 2 games so far. But if your other teams, you started much sooner than that, and you had more games compiled, and you played 4 games. Like Portland is the only undefeated team in the West. They played 4. Milwaukee, only undefeated team in the East. They only played 2. So
Yep.
you and we're gonna start with the Kings because we're both Kings fans, um, and this is the team that we have the most intimate knowledge with.
Yeah.
Shoot, we made a point about something in the NFL that happened in the NBA, and that just and it affected our team.
Hey.
So that tells you how intimate
Yeah.
we are when it comes to us and this team, man. So Sacramento right now is 0-3.
Do you want so they're 0-3.
Yeah.
We didn't cover the Clippers game at all. And they've played 2 games since the last time we talked. They played the Clippers and then they just recently played Golden State on Saturday. So I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about both games, and how they
Yeah.
went.
Yeah. I want to talk about. Uh, I want to talk about the game against the Clippers and the game against the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I know that we only talked about the Trailblazer game, right?
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
opening game.
And so yeah. So let's I don't know. I guess we could be a little bit all over the place with it because both games kind of
Yeah, I mean,
were very similar-ish.
yeah.
So let's I don't know what talking point I should start with. If you have any idea, you can kick it off.
I mean, from both games that I've seen, I mean, they're close games, right? Lost by 2 points by the Clippers, 111 to 109. 5 points, lost 5 points to the Warriors, 125 to 130. And both games I've seen was very, very bad, or not very bad, but pretty bad defense
Yes.
on our part, on the Kings' part,
Yeah.
which I feel like they, need to be a lot more disciplined,
Mm.
with their assignments and stuff like that, because seeing how you know much we lost by that. That just goes to show you that the offense can put up. We can put up points on offensive side of the ball. If we had that defense there, who knows? We could have won both these games.
Yeah.
You know, so it in both games, a standout point was the defense
I
was
I definitely feel
like
like the Clipper game was more doable than the Warrior game.
the
Um,
the Clipper game was very more doable because I don't know if you know, but
uh,
Kawhi
Keegan.
Leonard was not playing.
Oh, but also Keegan
Keegan
made
was
his
playing too,
and
debut, and he played
so
really well.
so the it was a very good debut, and you can it was how should I word it? It's like you see the difference between having Keegan versus not having Keegan
Yeah,
uh in that Portland game. Because
yeah,
in the Portland game, it felt like, oh, we're finna like do you like real bad the way you did us in the preseason.
yeah,
But in the preseason, we had Keegan.
yeah.
And for this game, I mean, for that first game, we didn't. And so that probably played a factor into why
Big factor. Yeah,
they they beat us the way they did, aside from, adjustments that they made and the lack of adjustments that our team made. I definitely seen something that is the same. There's like 2 points that I want to make, and they were the same kind of thing for both games. And that's one, um, being better about making some adjustments. Okay. That was the same thing, with the Clipper and Clipper and Warrior game. They made changes in order to keep the game closer. But when you dig yourself a hole, that was because, man, you're not making quick enough adjustments.
yeah,
And so, like, for instance, the Clipper game, we had a third quarter that was kind of like unacceptable. Like so I'll break it down first with the first two quarters. So Clippers and Kings, it was 29-26, for those quarters right there. And then
yeah,
we scored 29 points in the second quarter, they scored 23 points. Not bad. Okay? You're
yeah.
you're you're doing something right there. Here's where it's a little bit bad, and I know that it doesn't seem like it, but it is, because it tells you what happened in the following game too. The
Hmm.
Clippers scored 34 points in one quarter. You shouldn't let a team score 30 points on you.
And
Um,
to note on top of that, Paul George scored 16 points in that third quarter of
yeah,
his 40 points.
yeah,
Like that is bad,
yeah.
you know?
Getting destroyed by
And
one person,
yeah.
and like you guys gotta make a better adjustments during that quarter. I mean, they
Yeah.
they did do better in the following quarter by scoring 29 and holding the
29.
Clippers to 25. But by that time, the points that you allowed in the third quarter, they they helped them outlast the Kings' final
Yeah.
push to try and win the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you go to the Warriors, and it's a bigger drastic situation there, bro. Like, and
Hmm.
this is where it must be super frustrating for Coach Mike Brown, because you allowed the Warriors to score so many points in the second quarter. Like
50 points.
okay, yes, you were going toe to toe with them in the first quarter, but then like the second quarter, it didn't even feel like you scored 35 because they scored 50. You're
Yeah.
going into the half with such a big hole. Like, you can't do that. Like,
Yeah.
that's and that's not the first time that the Warriors have ever embarrassed the Kings in a quarter, and it should really irk the organization that it's happening yet again. Because like
Yeah.
I remember when Clay broke the record for points in a quarter, and he
Yeah.
scored 40 points in one quarter by himself.
By himself. By himself. Yes. Yeah.
So you brought up Paul George doing 16. That's light work.
That's light work. Yeah.
Okay. My
Also,
man,
another
my
key
man, my
point I want to
man's,
put.
my man said all those years ago. He said, "Hold my beer."
Hold my beer. Yeah. I also want to put a key point on this Kings and Warriors game was the Kings were non-existent the first minutes of the game. I mean, they let the Warriors score some 14 points.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Yeah,
0 to
it was.
14 before you knew it. Like I was like,
Yeah,
they
the
really did not get the ball going.
well, see, when that happened, I mean, shots just weren't going in. It wasn't like they were
Yeah,
or jacking up shots that were bad
yeah,
shots. It was just, there was more so uh bad, I don't know, just bad luck than it
bad luck
was
and just
then
and then
yeah.
kind of
But
getting
you,
the floor spread on them on defense. You know, that's
and
how
then
the Warriors do it.
I think the Warriors might have beat them on the boards. Um looking. Okay, so I'm on Google right now. It doesn't give me like
51
the
to
most.
37 on
So
rebounds.
yeah, so I wish I had took notes. I had planned on taking notes, and I spaced on that. So my bad, guys, because I
Yeah.
like to take down um what they did per quarter, and so
Mm,
in that first quarter, I felt like the Kings were getting out rebounded on the offensive end, like we were not doing the best job getting defensive rebounds when the Warriors were getting their offensive rebounds, because the Kings did play good defense even with the fact that they were over. Um, but it kind of, that's the part that like would have helped if it only like remained, let's say you're uh 0 to 8, you know,
yeah.
a 0 to 10, but like how you said about 14, man, it's like that's a big
Yeah.
margin right off the bat. Doesn't matter if it
Yeah.
took a while. Like it's just not, it's not something
Yeah.
you want to
And I
see.
mean, look quarter to quarter. I mean, yeah, defense was very bad in the second quarter. They let him score 50 points, but I mean, it's kind of inconsistent when you give up 50 points and then you give up you hold them to 17 in the fourth.
Yeah,
Like, where's the consistency? You know, it's like you
yeah.
either like you do very bad and then you
Well,
do really good.
so we what we talked about after the Trailblazer game, we talked about the different lineups, and
Yeah.
it felt like Coach Brown was trying to find the right lineup that could be consistent, and it took a while for Kevin Herter to start knocking down the shots. Like he was
Yeah.
bricking, but he was doing, the reason why Mike Brown kept him out there was because he was doing other things right. You can't
He
just take
was,
a
yes, yes.
you can't just take a guy out because he's bricking shots that are wide open, but he's over here hustling and making the right
Yeah.
passes and things like that. You can't, punish him that much. Like at some point,
Yeah.
those shots are gonna go down, and they started to go down. And so I believe the lineup was De'Aaron, Kevin Herter, um, I know it was Chemezi Metu, Keegan Murray, and I can't remember who. Oh, Malik Monk. So that lineup seemed to be very effective, and it was even effective against the starters when the lead started to shrink,
Mhm.
and Coach Kerr was like, I'm gonna put the starters back out there because my bench is like getting destroyed out here,
Yeah.
and if we're not careful, this is gonna like not end well. But he put them in, and the Kings were still rolling. At one point, got it within 2 points. And
Yeah.
really, this loss was like by 2 points because at some point you had to foul because you were running out
Yeah.
of time. And I think their biggest problem was not enough points in the paint. I think that they should have been
Mhm.
attacking the basket, and I think there's too many times where they're settling for that 3 pointer. And I understand that you need to keep shooting it, but like, like, dude, we shot 10 more threes than they did, and they made three more. So we were 11 for 43. They were 14 for 33. But the
Yeah.
percentage is what, when you look at the percentage, you can understand why you started to lose. We shot the ball 13 more times overall than the Warriors. So if you start substituting maybe those 10 more shots to points in the paint, then you're talking a different ball game.
Oh yeah.
And you could still wind up getting 3 points because of and ones and stuff. And
Uh,
so,
yeah, especially with De'Aaron, he
and
does
De'Aaron went
really
off
good.
again. Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
S-
it
So,
it's it. I said that in the first game too with the Trailblazers. Like it seems that they're like not going that route, being in the
mhm,
paint.
mhm.
They want to. I get shooting the ball. If we can shoot it. But when a time comes where we got to get in there and score points when we need to, got to get in there. You know, and 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 you know score those points, whether it's from De'Aaron or Keegan or and, and someone who I want to see put in more work is a bonus. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, he should have way more attempts than what he's been having
yeah,
the last few games, because I think this game, I think he only attempted 10 shots. And he's kind of been averaging about that these 3 games. And I need to see him be more assertive. Yeah, he was 6 for
yeah,
10. So he was playing good. He went to the free throw line too, and so he finished the game with 19 points and 14
yeah,
rebounds. Imagine if he just was a little bit more assertive. Like I said, trade those 3-point shots for some points around the basket, and we're gonna start
yeah,
seeing them go down. I know there's a lot of Kings fans who want to see Keegan Murray start, and they're complaining about minutes going to like a Harrison Barnes or a KZ Akapala. And like, for me, I'm like, bruh, like KZ only played 4 minutes, and Harrison
yeah.
played 21. Keegan played 38.
13 38 minutes and he's coming off the bench.
So I mean, look, at some point he will start, but like,
Yeah,
what do you do when it's time to like go to your bench? I understand what coach is trying to do. He's trying to make sure that like we have um a way to keep guys effective,
yeah,
no matter what lineup is out there. And I think that like he will be a starter at some point this year. It does suck that this is another year where like a good player has to wait their turn, because like we had that with Halliburton when he was a rook.
yeah,
Everybody was trying to get him to start. And then last year with Donovan, a lot of people were like, can we put him in the starting unit? But that was a lot of that, I think, was a lot of noise because they weren't happy with De'Aaron. And so it's like, you got to understand sometimes, man, your answer to things isn't always the right answer to things,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so maybe
I mean, I mean, I have a lot of confidence in Coach Brown, a lot more than I have in recent coaches. So
yeah,
I will say that it we're right there. You know what I mean? We're right there. I feel like we're gonna, I mean, we got a tough we got a tough schedule, man. Got a
it's a
tough schedule.
tough
There's some tough teams, man.
tough stretch of games, man. Like
I
you
mean,
can't
but we're
expect.
not getting blown out. We're not getting blown out. It's just some things we got to clean up. Just
I mean,
on defense and stuff.
we're semi getting blown out. Like we're
Semi,
making
yeah.
we're making
You're getting
adjustments.
blown out in quarters. That
Yeah, yeah.
we need to clean those quarters up.
You definitely want to have like much better starts to your games, and you want to look more like the team that you look like in the preseason,
Hmm.
because if you can get back to that, then there's more chances that you'll be in a game than not be in it.
Yeah.
And oh, what's up, man? So we're being asked the question: who will be an MVP first, Luca or Tatum? Um,
Hmm.
I think Luca will.
I think I agree. I think Luca would be over Tatum.
Luca does like so many things on a stat sheet. Plus, he's the main star on his team. Like he doesn't have a number two the same way that Tatum does. Like who on the Mavs is on the same level as Jalen Brown?
Yeah.
That's the only, like, if you're gonna slight one of them in order to give them the MVP, you look at the combination of record plus what they have to work with. And I feel like Tatum has so much more help than what Luca has. So I say Luca gets it first. And I feel like he's going to be a lot like Jokic, where he's winning it multiple times. Like he's winning it over Embiid hands down, because Embiid kind of like has always had another star alongside him. I know that like Jokic had Murray and stuff, but like, last year he was injured. He didn't have him. Um,
Yeah.
Before Ben Simmons uh was a letdown in the playoffs, he had somebody who was uh top 5 defender on his team. And then he got James Harden, and James Harden is still considered to be prolific, even if he's not quite playing the same way that we've seen him in Houston. It's just the fact that he still has a name. They're always gonna like look at those kinds of things before they give credit to the individual player, which I think they should just give it to the individual player. But I do think that they should have some weight with situation. But
Agreed.
that's my thoughts, man.
Yeah, you stole a lot of words in my mouth or my mind. You were picking my mind while you were explaining all
Yeah, man, I'm not gonna get dig in your mouth, bro. What the heck?
that. And I thought you liked that.
Man.
Man. But
Um,
yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Luca is hands down like probably one of the better players we're seeing
yeah.
single handedly do things on
Hmm.
his team.
Yeah.
But yeah. No discredit to Tatum. He's a great player. But I just feel like if he didn't have the help he had, when he went to the finals, you know, I don't think they would have been there.
Yeah. Um.
Ugh.
So yeah, just going back real quick to the situation in Sacramento. I think it's going to be a little bit of a long road. I mean, you don't really catch a
Yeah.
break. The schedule makers were not kind to them. Um,
But you know what? We just
you just got to look
each
better every day, every
every day.
game,
Yeah.
and every day, even when you don't
It's
have
gonna
a game.
it's gonna fall into place. You just go out there and just if they play hard, play smart basketball, it's gonna pay off.
But like going back to the schedule makers are not kind. You know that like in November we play the Warriors. Oh shoot, we play the. I thought we played the
That was
Warriors three
another
times.
topic I was gonna bring up.
It was like
When down the season we come against the come not come, come up against these teams again in the later season, how will we look? You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
how will the outcome of those games be different than these when we play the Trailblazers next, or when we play the Clippers again, or when we play the Warriors again?
Because like, dude, we play the Heat twice in a short amount of games. Okay, and we're playing against the Grizzlies. This next game is against the Grizzlies, and man, we're going against the Cavs. We're going against the Warriors again. The Nets. I mean,
Not kind.
not kind, man. Not
I
kind
want to
at all.
redraw. I want to re. I want to recount.
It's not kind to us at all, bro. And especially because the Grizzlies and Heat are so physical as well.
Oh,
They're so
yeah.
physical, and what can you say, man? You just gotta hope that not only do you get better, but also you don't deal with any injuries. And then on top of that, you never know
Exactly.
when like a trade will go down that sparks some more
Yeah.
life into the team. Cause like last year when Sabonis got traded, De'Aaron
Spark
instantly
life.
De'Aaron instantly became the De'Aaron that we knew from
Always
years
wanted him.
from years prior though.
Well,
Like remember how
from years prior, yeah.
yeah, and so to have that just kind of get him re-engaged is all you can ask for. And so maybe
Yeah.
the team needs a trade like that again at some point to kind of help things out and help them possibly push to get in the playoffs or at least to play in, which
Yeah.
I think playing is doable. It's just the first month of games is not it's not an
Easy.
easy road.
Yeah.
So what else stood out to you in the NBA, man? Is there anything that stood out?
Let's see here.
Oh, I got one. I got one. I just thought of one right now.
Yeah.
Lakers being 0-3.
Oh, yeah, that was the one. That's the big one. That's plain day. Yeah, Lakers being 0-3. What what is
And
your take on that situation down in SoCal?
um that I don't see how they can get better without getting rid of their picks. They have to get rid of those picks, man. Like you can't be worried about someone who's currently in middle school.
Yeah.
Because that middle schooler is down the road before he can ever think about coming into the NBA.
Oh yeah.
Right now, you're in the now, and you only have LeBron for a short amount of time.
Hmm.
Like, you'll be lucky if he actually gets to play with his son because you never know when an injury like a devastating one, just stops him in his tracks. You
Yeah.
never know. So like,
Never know.
and then on top of that, you're the Lakers. Lakers and Celtics are the two teams where you're expected to get a championship like every
Yeah.
year, especially the Lakers because they are a top media team as well. Like there's probably they're probably number one in how much coverage they get, and it doesn't help that you have a LeBron James to have even more eyes on you.
Oh yeah.
So you can't like slack at all, and you got to make a decision. You don't have shooters on your team. They could have
No.
easily been 3-0 had they made the trade to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Had you made those trades, like
Yeah.
you would be the team to beat.
Yeah. I don't know why they did not do that. Like, because that would have made the most sense to go out and get Buddy, who we know is, you know, from
Yeah,
from
we know
familiarity, we know how Buddy plays. Buddy is a
we
very
know
good
for a
shooter.
fact for a fact when this dude is hot, especially
He is
also
hot.
he's also another thing is the engagement kind of talking about how De'Aaron Fox we see a much more dominant player now because he's re-engaged. He's happy with his situation,
Mhm.
having Sabonis. You know, like
Yeah.
you see him doing great things, and like um, when Buddy was like that with when he got traded to us, and then we gave him the contract. I mean, the dude was playing out of his mind. It wasn't
Oh yeah.
until it wasn't until the last year and a half or whatever that he was more inconsistent, you know? And I think some of that had to do with the fact that there was always this conflict between who should be the starter. Is it Bogey or is it Buddy? You know, there was
Hmm.
always, and because they were very similar with the
Very.
fact that
Yeah.
they can hit big shots and all that kind of stuff. And so that kind of thing, I'm pretty sure got in the way of his happiness, in the way of how he could be more consistent and all that. Because before that, a dude was like on pace. He still is on pace to be one of the greatest shooters of all time.
Yeah.
Because I
Had
know like
they had the Lakers made that trade, like who knows what they could have done for him. Like
mm-hmm,
it could have like lit the spark for him and that team. Like they probably needed. Playing alongside LeBron James and AD, like that would have been crazy for him.
yeah,
He probably would have been
and not to mention that like
shooting lights out.
Miles Turner would be the same
Turner,
way.
yeah,
He'd be the same exact way. And then like if you do have issues with Anthony Davis with injuries or something like that, because you know he's been very injury prone in his time with the Lakers,
oh yeah,
and
for sure,
so you have another big who's super solid, who's good. He's been not only like a good scorer, but he's a pretty good shot blocker too. This guy has been one of the
yeah,
leaders in shot blocking, which is something that they also need. They need someone who can protect the rim. This team has not only been worse offensively, but they've been worse defensively too. They went from leading the league as one of the best defenders, and at one point they were the number one defenders. I think it might have been the year that they won the chip. To now they're one of the worser defenders in the league,
yeah,
and that's the whole reason why they brought in Patrick Beverly and Walker was to get better defensively. But the thing is, they they didn't really go after a 3-and-D guy.
yeah.
And it's sad when like Patrick Beverly is like statistically your best 3-point shooter because he's not that great of a 3-point shooter.
No,
And
I mean, he's a defensive guy, but he's not that
yeah,
offensive 3-point shooter you need.
and I think if I'm not mistaken, Buddy alone may have more threes than the Lakers as a whole.
Hmm.
Shoot, I would have to click on every individual game to find out. I ain't trying to do all that. But like,
And the Lakers have a big problem in Russell Westbrook. Like, I mean, he is not playing good at
yeah,
all.
no.
Which, like, it's like, you know, what do you do in that situation? You know, if you want to trade him, you're probably not gonna get a good trade for him because nobody would want him.
So we're being asked,
Yeah,
is Terrence better than Herter? So he's talking about on the Kings.
TD.
Uh, yeah, is TD better than Herter? I think they're both kind of the same, and like they equal out to the same. TD's very
Yeah,
athletic, and I would say Herter is uh more efficient than TD, and Herter is probably a slightly better defender, like as far as staying in front of his guy. But with like TD's athleticism, he can do things defensively that Herter couldn't do. So like
yeah.
really catch up to someone who's on a fast break and help challenge a shot. So I mean, having both of them on your team it doesn't hurt at all. It helps, So
But if you were to pick one, who would you want out on the floor consistently?
consistently, Herter brings more size,
Yeah,
and I think
more.
he's also like his IQ for passing is a little higher,
Yeah,
and
I
and
agree.
and coach wants the
I
ball
love
moving around.
TD with his his excitement
Yep.
to that he brings with there's been some plays that I've seen on defense that he
Yeah.
has made
He gets you hyped.
some steals. He gets the team hype. Like
Yeah.
he definitely brings that energy. But consistency with defense and shooting threes is harder.
Yeah.
I would say.
So I'm right now I'm deciding you keep talking about what we were talking about the Lakers. I'm
Oh,
over
about
here.
Russell Brick.
Yeah, cuz I'm actually I was like, "You know what? Screw it. I'm going to look up
You're gonna
what
look up all
Buddy's
those
done."
stats. Oh man, you're gonna be here for another hour.
No,
Well, yeah,
I'm
no,
almost done.
trading Russell won't solve the Lakers' problems at all.
Mhm.
Like, there's a lot more to it, but maybe getting rid of him might help in some ways, but it is not looking good for the trash fire going down in LA.
Yeah.
It's bad when the Clippers look like the better LA team than the LA Lakers.
Yeah, cuz they're supposed to be the team in the basement.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so I think Buddy has more threes than the Lakers combined, or
that's
about the
sad.
same.
That's sad. And I think I saw a post recently that it was a 3-point percentage of all the players that have former LA players in the recent seasons, and they were really good and versus what they have now. So it's like, why couldn't they hold on to these guys? That were
Yeah.
putting up the points for them.
Yeah, cuz like, how well not just that, but also defensively because
Defense,
like
yeah, defensively.
going back to the defense thing talking about how Miles Turner will help him out where the need. Well,
Hmm.
I mean, they let JaVale McGee go twice and Dwight
Yeah.
Howard twice, and both those guys helped him out tremendously
Oh
with
yeah.
defense. Like
Mhm.
Like, dude, you can't just let someone go but not replace them with someone of similar value.
Yeah.
And that's been their problem. Every time they let someone go, they they don't replace it. So like last year, their best 3-point shooter was like Malik Monk. Did they replace it? No.
Mm-mm.
The year before that, it was like Alex Caruso and
Did they
some other
replace
guys.
that? No.
No. Kyle Kuzma's gone. Did they replace that? Not really. Like so any kind of like 3-point threats of any kind, they've been like letting go and just not replacing it like better, you know?
Yeah.
They just I don't know what's going on with the front office. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if like Genie Bus is being very adamant about you are not allowed to trade the first round draft picks at all. I'm not
They're
gonna
holding
let
on
it.
to that
They're holding on to
so
it
hard.
for life, and like I just don't get why, bro. Like it again.
Are
It's
they
a
are they do they want to be a rebuilding team, or do they want to win now? It's like,
yeah.
what do you
What's the
want to
point?
do?
What's the point in having LeBron and Anthony Davis on your
Anthony
team
Davis.
if you're not gonna
If you're
use them?
rebuilding,
Yeah, like
yeah,
that's the whole
yeah,
reason why
makes
you
no
also
sense.
traded for AD was because
Yeah,
you didn't have the patience to, and LeBron didn't have the patience to go through a process of trying to help build up the young guys. So
yeah.
Bi had to go, Larry Nance had to
Hmm.
go, um, Kyle Kuzma almost was put into that. Lonzo was put into it.
Yep.
But yeah, they let go of the youth
All for
for
what? One chip?
proven guys for one chip that some people don't
Yeah,
even respect because it was in the bubble.
yeah.
And like for me, I don't respect it, but not because it was in the bubble. It was because it gave them so much time off before they got into the bubble.
Hmm.
Because, like, I remember vividly before the pandemic happened, they like they were starting to slow down some, and so I was like, like they're probably not gonna make much noise in the playoffs. They're probably gonna be like a second round out.
Yeah.
Um, but them having like a month off to recover,
Helped them
like
tremendously.
of course you're gonna get nothing but their best. Them at their best was better than everybody else's best. Come on, man,
Yeah,
get out of here.
yeah.
Part of winning a chip is knowing that it's a marathon and it's who's the best team that's still available. But
Absolutely.
anyways, the Lakers, they need to help LeBron out or just be like definitive about what their plans are.
Yeah, they
And if you don't want to get rid of those lottery picks, then why don't you just screw over LeBron and trade him? I know he doesn't want to be traded. I'm pretty sure there might be a no trade clause, but I don't know. But
I don't know.
I don't see the point. There's nothing in Westbrook's contract that says he can't get traded. So
Yeah,
I don't know what they're afraid of. Um,
they got to do something because whatever they're doing is not working.
Utah starting 3-1 when they were kind of counted out for getting rid of
Yeah,
Gobert and
good one.
yeah, Mitchell,
Donovan.
Spider Mitchell, and here they are. And you know what?
Yeah,
I never bought into what people were saying about the Jazz. And the reason why is because they're an organization that is used to being a small market team that seems to always be in it.
yeah,
So, organization wise, they've been a very good, consistent organization. Same thing with San Antonio. You know, they got rid of their star player and sent him to Atlanta, and
Yeah.
they're also 3-1. Like they're those are two good organizations that know how to develop players, that know how
Players,
to
yeah.
I know how to do trades and drafting and stuff because they know no free agent is trying to go over there willingly.
Yeah.
Like LeBron, I remember LeBron said that like a long time ago, he was saying how much he loves Coach Popovich and how much he would love to be coached by him, and that was also part of the thing with with being on Team USA because he was one of the assistant coaches on that
Yeah.
squad, and so he talks a big game about Greg Popovich, but like you know, you were a free agent and you never once decided to take your talents
Yeah.
to
What
to
happened?
yeah, you took your talents to South Beach, but you didn't take it to south of the U.S. Of most
San
states in the
Antonio.
U.S. and San Antonio, South San Antonio, wherever.
Yeah. South
but
Texas.
but because of that, knowing that they can't get like a talent like that to ever come to them, they always have to develop that talent. That's how we got.
I mean,
That's how we
look
got
at
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
That's
Yeah.
how we got him.
Well, we didn't get him. That's how the Clippers got him. But
But yeah, no, I meant like we got him
oh, they
as in the NBA,
as
like the
fan,
fan
yeah,
base.
as
Yeah, yeah.
fans,
That's
yeah,
how we got him. Because
yeah.
otherwise, you know, he could have easily went to a team that don't develop well, and he would have never gotten a shot.
It would have been nobody.
Yeah.
Well, not like a nobody. I still think he would have, been a somewhat decent player, but he wouldn't be as big of a player as he is now.
Yeah, he wouldn't be the shot caller that he is now. Because like the Clippers bent to his every word. My tummy hurts. I don't
Yeah.
want to play today. All right.
All right, sit out. All right. What
I
else
sc-
do you need?
I accidentally I had an itch and when I went to scratch it, I scratched too hard. So I'm not 100%. I'm 99.999%. I won't play till I'm 100%.
Oh man.
You know, it surprises me that Philly's not doing better. They're 1-3 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brooklyn too. They're 1-2. It surprises me that these teams that are supposed to be
To be these built teams with
yeah
big name players are not doing well. You know, it it amazes me. But then again, it like it makes me feel good too. That you can have teams that aren't big name teams with big name players win games.
so
I think
I'm
the only other team that has big other big like real big names that are consistently doing is the Warriors.
yeah
That's about it. But I
yeah
mean, you can also throw the Bucks in there too.
well Boston too.
Boston as well.
Boston's doing good.
So those are
Boston's
like
doing
the
good.
few teams
Yeah,
that are still doing it. But
and Memphis is doing good. But it's surprising to me, kind of not surprising at the same time. Portland being an undefeated team, because the reason why I say that it is surprising is just because of it's not quite the same level of talent that we've seen in the past. But it's not
yeah,
surprising to me because Dame is a great leader and he's a great teammate and he inspires guys. He's all about being loyal to the soil. That's why
yeah.
you
I
don't
mean,
see
who
him
knows?
ever asking for a trade, bro. He knows that he
Never.
doesn't have the best chances to win a chip, but he's still going to try. And when he wins a
Yeah.
chip, I'm going to respect him even more than I do
Put
other people.
hell respect on his name.
I'm and and you know me, like I was already a fan anyway because he made me
Oh yeah.
cry. It wasn't his doing; it was the Kings doing for not drafting his ass. He's the only one that ever made me cry, And so I cried over that. I'm not ashamed to say that, because look at his career. One of the greatest point guards of all time. And I think he might not have made it in the top 75 of players, but um but if he didn't, he's definitely on the top 100. There's no way
Oh yeah,
he's
for
not.
sure.
The dude has accomplished so much, and he's on, this might be the fourth or third time that they had to like do the team on him, and he still
Mhm.
made the playoffs. Like I remember when LaMarcus Aldridge left him and he went to San Antonio, and then look at this time, CJ McCollum
Yeah.
gets shipped out to New Orleans. I mean, this dude is constantly having to reinvent
The only
the
one he
team.
really has that's been staying with him is Nurkic.
Yeah, and that wasn't even his road dog from the very beginning.
No.
They had a trade for him,
Yeah.
which is crazy that Denver had him and Jokic, bro.
And
And
Jokic.
and at one
Yeah.
time they were coming off the bench.
Man.
Cause I remember that was
Yeah.
back in the Mellow days, bro. They already had some bigs that were good. They were coming off the bench for this Brazilian dude named Nene. He said, "Watch me, Nene, you
Hey, watch me whip
Europeans,
and watch me nay nay.
you overseas dudes, watch me whip and Nene." And it didn't help that he had long dreads that he had to like bulk up so he could like be
Whip it.
he could whip his hair back and forth. You know what I mean? And so they were his backups, and look at that, man. They're guys
Yeah.
that are a heck of good, especially Jokic. That dude's gonna be a Hall of Famer one day.
Oh yeah, for sure. The Joker.
Yeah, and the joke's on them.
The jokes.
The joke's on Nene. But
But yeah, man. Dame
man,
is he. He's like no other player, man. He's just too good.
too good, man.
And you know what? They keep playing like they play. There's no doubt that they could make another running for a chip.
Yeah,
And you know what? When a day, when if that comes this year, if that comes next year, and Dame wins the championship, man, I'm gonna be real happy for him.
yeah. And look,
Because you know
bro,
what? Not a lot of people stick with the team that drafted them.
they didn't have like the easiest schedule either, bro.
Yeah.
And they're undefeated. So they beat us, which
But I wouldn't say
we're
we're an easy beat,
we're not an easy beat.
or
We're
we're not
like
an
we well
easy
like
win.
look, I'll accept this that we're gonna take more L's than we do dubs, okay?
Yeah.
And I have no problem with teams circling that dub on us. It is what it is. Our history um does us no favors. But the difference between this year versus in the past is our dedication to defense and being better about ball movement. This is the beginning of a culture change, and that doesn't happen overnight. You might
Yeah.
see a much more improved team next year, and then the year after that. At least that's what the hope is. And this is the first time. I'm not like other fans where every time we got a new coach, I really thought we were making the playoffs. I I've after 4 or 5 years of having missed the playoffs after my senior year of high school, I was like, nope, this team has to show me now.
Yeah.
They have to show me. They have to prove me wrong. We're not going. I wasn't being a negative Nancy. I was like, that's enough sample size to know that you have some development problems and culture problems and all this stuff, because that wasn't there for 8 years in Sacramento. That was only
Mhm.
there uh, in that recent time, and there was all kinds of turmoil happening. You know, the ownership doing less and less with the team, and that ownership at the time was a toxic relationship with the
Oh yeah.
Kings and them as owners. It was bad because
They
the
don't
whole
even want to talk about them.
yeah,
They don't
you
even
know,
mention their name.
and the drama that came into the whole, they made it worse by trying to relocate the team in the middle of the night without giving Sacramento a chance to put a group together to buy the team. And then most new owners tend to meddle, and it's
Yeah.
not until recently that the current owner has even spoke about it and said he's gonna do less because whatever he's doing is not working. I don't know how well he'll stick to that because a lot of people say the right things and they do a different thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying that this is a little bit different, because this is the first time him admitting this shit, and the emphasis and the way they went about their coaching search. I like it, and hopefully there's something that can come of it. But
Absolutely.
so swinging it back to the Trailblazers after that long soliloquy. We're not an easy dub because our
Yeah.
coach won't allow it, which is a positive sign. They beat the Suns, who's still, in the mix for being a contender. They really want to win a chip for CP3. And I love their head coach, and I love a lot of the players on their team. I'm believers in them, even with the drama that they got going on with their current owner. The Lakers gave them a fight. Came down to 2 points, but they prevailed. The Nuggets, they put a whooping on them. 110-135. That's impressive. That's an impressive win. Denver every year has been in the mix, and Jokic has been back-to-back MVP, and I spanked them. That's all you can say, man. Spanked them. And also, they got Jamal Murray back.
Yeah.
So that's an added weapon. I believe in Canadians during the regular season. I don't believe them in the postseason.
I forgot about that. You and Canadian basketball players.
I don't. Jamal Murray is the closest thing to a proper basketball player. Cause you know what, man, I respect Europeans and other overseas people way more than I do these Canadians. Man, they're always about, oh, I'm sorry, I stepped on your toes, sorry. All about this.
Who was your least favorite Canadian? Wasn't it? Who was it? Was it Town? Carl Anthony Towns?
Oh yeah.
He was
I
like
mean,
your
I don't know if he's my least favorite, but it didn't help any that at one point the Timberwolves were the Timber Canadians, where Wiggins and him were on the same team.
Yeah.
The Canadian Timberwolves. That's what they were for a second, man.
I mean, they're basically right there.
It's sad, and you know what? And if anybody fights me on it and brings this back up, and they want to bring up the Raptors winning the chip, name me the Canadians that were on the team, man. Go ahead, I'll wait.
Team, but they're no Canadians.
Yeah, the GM ain't Canadian, and neither were the players. That's what you needed. You needed some non-Canadians.
The only one.
Yeah, Drake, and he was about to screw it up for him. He was about to screw it up with him. I remember he was trying to pick a fight with Kendrick Perkins, man.
Yeah, man.
Come on. That they Kawhi ain't from anywhere near Canada, man. He from LA.
Yeah.
Pascal Siakam. Man, that dude's from Africa. And who else was it that day?
Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry, man. I forget where he's from, but I know it's in the
He ain't
U.S.
nowhere
He's built in America, man.
That's funny.
So yeah, man. All these Canadians can kiss my booty until they prove me wrong. But
They have to prove me wrong.
just like the Kings got to prove me and everyone else wrong about their chances of making a playoff push and things like that, you know, Canadians got
tell
to
you
do the
that-
same.
That day will come. I don't know about the Canadians, but the Kings day will come.
The closest that they've gotten to is Wiggins, but come on, man. He's next to Steph, Clay, Draymond, and so many others. There's so many people that are from America and other places around the world that, of course, they can handle the weight of one Canadian. That's a lot of weight to put on a team, man. Why do you think the Timberwolves couldn't do nothing? They had two of them. That's too much for one team.
That's two players too much.
And if you're going to have a Canadian, he needs to be coming off the bench or have some heavyweights on the starting lineup. They can't be the number one guy. You think Andrew Wiggins was the number one guy on that team? Hell no.
Hell
Look at that, man. You got me all fired up about these Canadians.
no.
All you had to say was, I forgot Jamal was a Canadian. And I forgot that was a thing with you. I never forget. You know, if I ever got dementia, the only thing I'll remember is my disdain for Canadian basketball players.
Basketball players. He'll forget everything else day to day, but he'll always remember.
I won't even remember my name. But I'll remember
What's
that
your name? I hate Canadian basketball players.
I hate them. I'll probably remember every Canadian basketball player that I know. You know?
Before I remember all my own name.
My name, my family's name, my kid's name. They're all dead to me, but you know who ain't dead to me? The Canadians. And it really pisses me off when I find out my favorite actors are like Canadian. Pisses me off.
Oh man. Too funny. What were we talking about before?
Teams that are surprising us, man.
Oh yeah. You were talking about the Nuggets. That's where we got to Jamal Murray.
Oh no, we were talking about the Trailblazers' impressive wins and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know, like Jamal Murray, like I said, he's the closest thing to an American
To an
dude
American,
because
yeah.
he be trying to really, you know, light dudes up like an American player or even an overseas guy. Because, you know, there's a lot of overseas guys that ain't soft and they've proven it. Okay? They used to say Dirk was soft and he was never gonna win a chip. And then he went and won one with an old ass team on the Mavericks.
The team was on its last leg.
Yeah.
Oh, the last came.
and he did it to the Heatles.
Yeah.
Remember? They were like not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. The LeBron James, D Wade, Chris Bosh ass team.
Yep.
He did it against them. The young dudes versus the old dudes.
That was
got it.
impressive.
That's an impressive win, man.
Yeah.
Overseas dudes, another one. Manu Ginobili. Hey, even Frenchie Tony Parker. And you know what? They beat on the Heatles too.
Mhm.
Almost won 2 of them. If it wasn't for Ray Allen.
That's why he's the GOAT.
So until a Canadian shows me something, I'm gonna. And they got to do it more consistently too, man. They can't just luck out with one.
Yeah.
Just like how there's I can't believe that there's some detractors when it comes to Giannis and his chip that he won because he did it against the Suns and people don't really respect the Suns like that. Whatever. That's why I said I would love to see Milwaukee go against the Warriors. And if they won that, holy crap. I'm going to be like, yo, man, we need to be scouting more Greek players, man.
Oh. Greek freaks.
He ain't the only one out there. There's got to be more. I mean, shit. Him alone, he has like 20 brothers.
Yeah, I know. Oh, gonna be a frenzy, a Greek frenzy draft.
Yeah, man. Oh man. Anything else you want to talk about? Or you think we good?
No, not much. We're pretty good.
Okay. Well, like I said to everybody earlier before we had switched over talking about the NBA, please like and subscribe and give us comments. Anything you guys ever want to talk about, we're down to talk about, man. If there's a team you want us to focus on, even if it's your own team, we definitely will, man. We love sports, and it doesn't bother us at all to dive deep into what your team got going on or a player you like got going on. So, like I said, like, comment, subscribe, share. Um, we we're gonna do big things here, man. We know it's a process, but
And
yeah,
hopefully soon you know, there's one more of us.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
another one. So hopefully we have some shows where we have all three of us for better discussion and all that stuff. So
yeah, and we'll have the trifecta, the three amigos, man. And I can't wait for that day, man. That's gonna be fun.
oh yeah.
Um, so thank you guys for stopping by and checking us out and talking to us. Shout out to you, Ryan. Um,
Yeah, man. There's some
you,
good questions there.
come back. Uh, and yeah, man. Like I'm gonna say one more time: like, comment, subscribe, man. But
Hey,
anyways, well, go ahead, man.
hit that bell button
Oh
for
yeah,
notifications.
I forget about that one. Hit it for notifications and hit it for all. This way you'll get notified
You
for
know.
sure. Because sometimes people only
Yeah.
hit the notification button, but they don't know that there's like a section that says all. So the all kind of like really guarantees that you will be notified. Now you might get notified late, but at least you'll get notified.
Yeah.
So yeah,
man.
man. Thank you guys for being on. Always
Yeah.
fun.
And we'll
Always
see
fun to talk.
everybody
Yeah.
next week.
All right, man. Well, hold on. Not quite next week. We might do a midweek thing.
Oh
Might.
yeah.
We
Yeah.
might. We're gonna shoot for it because we want to do at least 2 a week. So
Gotcha. Yeah.
but we'll see you guys soon. And